All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to March, the third month of the year. Yep, I know. It's insanity, and especially because it is starting to get a lot darker when you wake up in the morning. I mean, being up at, quarter to five yesterday, maybe even 20 to five, and then you compare it to this morning, it's dark, So it's like there's no love at that time of the morning. No one wakes up at that time and goes, this is great. This is fantastic. All right, we got Ryan and we got Mash in the studio. Look at how good you guys look with that light there. This is the best you've ever looked.
Bona. Cliff Central's next top model is where we are at now. We are on that level.
And I'm telling you, it's all happening. All right, so let's go over some stuff. We got a lot to get to today. And we're on time. It's 6 o'clock on the dot. There's plenty of stuff to talk about. We've got our special play out this morning of the uncancelled interview with Unathi that we were busy with last Thursday. Essentially, the difference is here that we're going to be doing this with a live studio audience, and we'll be doing it once a month. So one big guest, one really interesting person, one person who's uncancelable every month, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The next one, we will be allowing people to buy tickets and join us, and just in case you think we're making you come and fleece yourself just so that you can do a question or two or be in the room, we also provide, and Ryan and Mash, you can back me up on this, we provide some pretty damned astounding food, which we did on Thursday.
Yes.
Just Teddy, oh my god, that food was amazing.
That
And
food was
some drink.
bomb.
Yeah,
That was fantastic.
Very good. And
Absolutely
some drinks.
amazing.
You get to hang with the team. You get to see our new place. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it would be fun to do this, and we will make those tickets available once we announce who the next guest will be, which is also going to be an exciting new development. So stick around for that. And by the way, if you have any ideas for us, you can also let us know. Just drop us a note in the comments. You can either send us an email, comments@cliffcentral.com, or contact@cliffcentral.com. It's all up to you. Let us know what you're up to.
It's also such an experience, Gareth. I mean, it's not like you're just watching an interview, then that's it. You get to actually engage with the person afterwards.
Yeah,
you get to
cool.
chat with them.
Yeah.
It is so much fun.
Yeah. Also, I
No,
think we
certainly.
set the bar pretty high.
And we can maintain.
Well, you guys were both in the room, and I don't think there are a lot of people who are as honest as Unathi was about everything. Right? We'll play the whole interview at 7. You can see for yourself. All right, so let's get cracking. First of all, it wouldn't be a day without Mash on the show, or it wouldn't be a day with Mash on the show without him telling us something outrageous that's happened either with his friends, with him, where he lives. So apparently Mash was walking around. He saw a car in the complex that had the lights on, the lights left on inside. So he decided he'd go.
So let me take it from...
what you saw was absolutely shocking. This sounds like clickbait, but go on, tell us.
It's not clickbait. So let me actually start right from the top. So Sunday I went to a spa for a full body massage, which I feel like I really needed. I had a full body massage. I had a facial as well. I had the works done on me, and the massage was great. I'm going to start right there. The massage was great, but not that great. The reason why it wasn't that great is because, first of all, for the facial, they only put a mask on half my face, and I don't even have that much beard. In fact, I don't have any beard to begin with. So they only put a mask on half my face. That really annoyed me because I was like, there's like a whole half of my face from the nose going down that you didn't touch. That really annoyed me, but it's fine. And then for the actual massage, my masseuse had quite some long nails. And I do know that in that industry, you can't have really long nails. So they kept digging into me when she was massaging my feet. They were just digging under my feet. And I'm very ticklish as well. So that didn't help either. And after that, it was just not that great of an experience. I did enjoy the whole experience overall, but just the massage alone, and also just knowing that half my face got the facial instead of my entire face as I wanted, got the
All
facial.
right.
And
I
then,
mean, this is very princess-like stuff that you're telling me here, but okay.
I get it. This is low-lying stuff. Ryan,
Just saying.
Ryan, back me up here. This is low-lying stuff. For a massage, your nails got to be cut, or else you're going to be scratching my back the whole afternoon.
Mash, I don't let anyone touch me. I don't go, no massages, nothing. So
You don't do any of this.
Nope,
Well, bad for you then in that case. But for me,
Yeah,
for
Mash
me,
knows
it just
what.
didn't cut it. Yeah.
Sure.
So this massage lasted approximately 3 hours. So it was like from 4 p.m.
Jeez.
up until about 6:45. So yeah, about 2 hours 45 minutes, 3 hours basically.
Can I ask you what do you pay for that?
Hyperly, Gareth. I told you about Hyperly last week. You get deals. You get like a 3-hour full body massage and facial for like $300. Your Hyperleys, your daddy's deals, all of those is where it's at. People are thinking you're living large and you're rich. Meanwhile, you're bowling on a budget.
So still, I mean, a 3-hour massage for that much is fantastic value. This is really good.
Let's go on our apps and book and use promo code MESHI.
Okay, stop it. You basically spent the whole of last week's show plugging this stuff. And just by the way, we also found out from you that you're on this blood cleansing stuff. Did that not help with your facial? Maybe she took one look at you and thought, this guy doesn't need the facial because he's on blood. Just saying.
Perhaps. And the lighting in the studio this morning is doing me justice as well. So thank goodness for that. But after the massage, it ended. And then I got home at about 7 p.m. I was with my partner. We got home at about 7 p.m. And then as I was parking the car, I noticed there's a black Audi just down in the parking. So our parking is underground, and I see a black Audi, lights on, and I'm like, oh, that person probably just got home. I keep it moving. We go upstairs, go to bed, whatever. 1 a.m. It was pretty hot, by the way, on Sunday. It was quite hot on your Saturday, Sunday. Yes. And then at 1 a.m. we wake up, and I'm like, I'm boiling. I'm actually craving ice cream, And then, so we decide to go to Engine Garage in Rivonia. We're like, listen, let's go grab some ice cream quickly and just, cool down, We got some ice cream, some cool drink, energy drinks, whatever. And then when we get back at that 1 a.m., I see the very same Audi with the lights still on. Keep in mind, we arrived at my place at 7 p.m. The lights were on. It's now 1 a.m. and the lights are still on. So I am now
battery in there.
Really suspicious. I'm like, something's off. Off. So it's quite further down in the parking. I'm not going to walk down there. So I decide, you know what? Let's just drive down there, and then I can just step out and see what's going on in case there's something offish and I just need to, flee. So, so I drive down to this Audi that's just sitting there. And at this point, all the lights are pretty much dead. It's just like one light on the left that's still on, one LED in the back, and then like one LED in the front. And the most suspicious part about this is that the driver's seat window is completely open. It was wide open. So now I'm even more suspicious. I'm like, something is off. And on top of that, the car is parked very rough. You can tell when somebody was like just parking in a hurry, and it's not even in the lines. It's just parked very, very rough. So at this point, I'm super, uber suspicious. And I actually was scared to go up to the car and see what's going on. But at the same time, I was very, very concerned because I thought to myself, what if somebody's dead in that car? What if somebody's dead in that car? Then what? So
that's what I would think. People, especially car hijackers, they often, apparently that because a lot of these cars have trackers in them, they will drive these cars into underground parking, or they'll park them at the airport, where you can just leave the car. And then that's where people find a lot of bodies in the boot and that kind of thing. So it's you're right to be suspicious. I mean, this is very, very scary. So what did you end up seeing?
So
I mean, the suspense is killing me.
I go up to the car and I look in the window. There's nothing. There's nothing going on. There's nobody in there, rather. So but I'm still suspicious. I'm like, why would someone just park their car with the window open, lights are on, and just leave? And I thought to myself also, this is like a new age Audi, and it's not like the old cars. Like if you leave your lights on, the car will shout at you. It won't let you leave the lights on.
Right.
So
correct.
At this point, I'm super sus, super sus, and I'm thinking, if I'm sure even the keys are in there at this point, but the car wasn't on, and I don't know what's going on. I have no clue what's going on. I tried to call security. I was having network issues. They couldn't hear me, and then I saw another car facing the opposite direction in another lane of the parking. They're in the basement. It's a BMW. It was a BMW, like a blue BMW, facing the opposite direction. Lights are on as well. And I see movement in there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let me ask that person. They probably just parked. They're about to go upstairs to their apartment. Let me ask them what is going on. Did they see anything? Did they witness anything? And why are they just sitting in their car at 1 a.m.? Very weird. So I go up to this blue BMW. I'm about to knock on the window. And as I get to this window, I just see hardcore pounding. People are just hard at it in that car. They are at it. And I was so shocked. I was traumatized. It's some guy and some girl. And they just hardcore at it in this car. And even the windows are like steamed up a bit. But the windows are steamed up. And
I have to tell you, I don't know why you're so surprised. That immediately when you told the story, I was like, this is what it is.
Yes. Yo, I know from college days. Never approach cars when you see such things like that. Never.
Now I get to this window. I see them hardcore fucking in the air, and I knock on the window once.
Yes.
And they don't respond. So I knock a second time.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you knocking?
Because I'm concerned, right?
No, there's no concern. Walk away, Mash.
So at this point, I knock the second time, and then the girl turns around and she like covers herself. She covers herself up a bit. I'm like, why are you covering? I already saw everything, girl. So, and then she turns around and she's like, oh, what do you want? And I'm like, hi, do you know the owner of that car, that Audi over there? She's like, no. Right? I'm like, okay, did you see anything? Did you see anybody leave it? What's going on?
She's having a massive conversation with her, and she's got like her hands across her titties, and she doesn't want to talk to you.
They didn't even open the window. I was talking to them with the window closed. Oh, wow. And then she's like, no, we don't know. I don't know who. I don't know. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, thank you. Enjoy. And then I just go back to my car, drive back to my parking, park my car, and then mind my own business. Now,
were your tires slashed in the morning?
No. But also, and then I actually discussed this in the office. I actually told them, like, yo, guys, I witnessed something traumatic, blah, blah, blah. And then Ryan and Lebang in particular were like, it was your, how dare you? How dare you bother people screwing in their car? And I was like, hey, Bo, so I'm wrong in this situation. So I just want the audience's opinion. I want your opinion as well, Gareth. Am I tripping in this situation?
Well, you're very interested in other people's stuff, what's going on here. And maybe you're just trying to be a good neighbor. I don't know. Maybe you were genuinely worried about it. But like the fact that you went up and you had a full-on conversation with people who are obviously just having sex in the car means that you got way too involved. If you are, like, once you realized it was people fucking, you should have turned around and just walked away.
Pretty much.
Stress.
Yes.
Even though I'm concerned.
Well, concerned about what?
All right, if you want to jump in on this, because we're still getting people used to the idea that you can call in. You know, we're doing phone calls again. So I'll put up the number and you call us. Tell us what you think. 083-295-5769. We're going to do calls. So if you've got something you want to say, maybe you want to shit all over Mash because he's got no business looking into someone else's car while they're having sex. And, you know, for a lot of people, it's difficult to find a place to have sex. I mean, I remember.
But you know what? Yeah, Gareth?
Well, I mean, in my 20s, you'd meet a girl at a club or whatever. And now you have to do things in the car because where are you going to go? You both still live at your parents, or you've got like a roommate or there's something else going on, it's very difficult to find a place to have some fun. So people do it in the car.
My thing is at 1 a.m. And also this guy drives, the guy who dropped this girl off, I don't know who the hell he is, but he's driving like a nice BMW. I thought to myself, he could book an Airbnb, I'm sure. The cheapest ones are like $250 a night.
But sometimes you don't have that kind of time. You just, you know.
You just what? You just have to bump
immediately. Can I tell you what? Until it happens to you, and then we'll see what you say when someone knocks on your window.
And Mash, it's expensive to do the Airbnb. I mean, like who has, cash lying around, and especially before the end of the month. I mean, you're talking about the weekend before the end of the month. Nobody had any money to book an Airbnb. You'd rather just go down into the basement in your car and have your fun. I mean, I totally understand it. I think you looking through the window, that's a little bit creepy.
That is not creepy at all.
No,
it's
that's
in
creepy.
my complex, in my home. I live there as well. So for
me,
you
don't live in the parking lot.
You don't live in the parking lot, exactly.
But the parking lot is for everyone. And what if it was a child playing or whatever? They maybe woke up in the middle of the night, and then imagine a child seeing that. It's a residential parking.
You are like those people who during COVID they were telling everybody in the neighborhood what to do. That's what you are.
I just feel like, look, if
snooping around, that's what you were doing.
If you're sleeping with someone in a car at 1 a.m., you first of all, you shouldn't be sleeping with that person. Those two people shouldn't be sleeping together. That guy's probably married or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they could easily ask you the same thing. Like, what are you doing wandering around like a creep at 1 a.m. looking into other people's cars? Like, are you
buying ice creams at 1 in the morning?
Well,
I was
exactly.
I know I was there.
Yeah, but people are going to think there's something wrong with you as well. I mean, like, what kind of guy is getting into his car at 1 a.m. to go and buy ice creams and then trawls around the parking lot, involving himself in other people's business?
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
You guys,
listen here.
You like those guys? You like those patrol guys?
Viasan says, "Mind your own business, Mash. If you want to save someone, go and fill a pothole." Just plain Jared says, Mash is just nosy shit. He wanted to see some dick. Famous Mama says, no way. You'll never catch me in that situation, but Smash, no, you're blessed to be alive. Famous Mama, I don't know what you're on about here, but okay. Car sex is fun, says Deep T. It's when nature calls. Congo Chris also climbing into Mash. Mash, it's creepy. Knocking on the window is even more creepy. Also adds, what kind of child is playing in the parking lot at 1 a.m., Mash? You're making excuses for your nosiness. Parallel parking says you're creepy. Tracy says it was a probable spontaneous innuendo. No Airbnb is going to be available and open their doors at that time. All right, well, let's take a call. Let's see. Hey, good morning. What's up? Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead.
So, for Mash to understand kind of what the other people must have been feeling, he must kind of put himself in their situation. So, like, let's say he was hot with someone and he wanted to get it on.
Yeah.
And he finally got his chance. If he had someone knock on the window, well, how would he feel?
Right.
So, Mash, I completely understand. Like, it's in your residence and you're kind of walking around your parking area. But then you kind of have to look at it from their side as well, especially if they were parents and like what you said as well, Gareth, like when you ever get to find space, like even as a student, you don't necessarily always have a place to do the deed.
Right.
So,
right.
But it's just funny.
And
we all love you.
But he's a nosy, creepy weirdo, right?
And you probably call the cops, Mash.
He's looking out for everybody, I suppose.
No, he's not. Don't go back. No, don't go back on your word now, just because
no.
Because you're looking. Because you're looking at Mash's face here. I mean, Carl says a poem for Mash. It's a little bit of Mash. He likes to watch them smash. There we go.
In this scenario.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Lindy says Mash is a mum goboz.
What's that?
It's someone easy.
Other people's business.
Mash, I told you. Did you go to university, Mash?
Yeah, and
Did you never go to like college parties or like
I did.
gigs outside? Did you never ever see any of this going on?
No, I never witnessed any of this. We were
Interesting.
booking hotels when I was studying.
You were booking hotels.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
there
that's
we go.
very that. I never in my 20s. I never booked a hotel for a one night stand. I used the car, which is what a lot of people do. I think my first ever experience was in a car, and I'm tall, and this girl was tall, and it was very uncomfortable. But
Where was the car?
it was parked in a little street off this place where we were hooking up, this club. And I promise you that the chances were that there would be someone like Mash walking around, looking around. It made us very uncomfortable. Luckily, on that night, nothing happened. And Mash, I think you've got to just accept. I mean, someone even said in here just now that knowing your stories, right? You probably were in your kimono, and you probably freaked the hell out of them.
Oh no! After what I saw, they freaked the hell out of me.
But were you in the kimono though?
That's the important question.
That's the real question.
I was, but
You've never heard that song? You've never heard Tina Turner's song "Steamy Windows"?
I've never heard that song.
Okay, well, Steamy Windows is basically all about how there's this couple and they're going at it and they're steaming up the windows. That's usually how you can tell that there are people. I mean, here's another obvious one. If the van is rocking, don't come a knocking. It's an old rule.
Yeah.
So,
But then famous mama also in the comments says, think I'm living under a rock. I've never done that in my life. So I think it's quite relative. You know, some of you are wild and freaky or are wild and freaky. But
what's wild and freaky? It's the venue that you don't have. You don't have a whole lot of options, Mash. I mean, I think you on purpose being like, you're choosing not to understand this. Don't you think, Ryan?
I think so. I feel like it's fair. It's a fairly obvious thing. Like I have a big rule, and I tell my sister this all the time. Just mind your own business. There's no reason to go and plow into other people's business in anything. I'm just like, you know what? Avoid it all because it's not worth it.
Yes.
But okay, above all, I was just concerned. And yes, these people were screwing. I'm sorry to these people if they're listening, if they even recognized me. I'm like, look, I'm sorry, y'all. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed getting your freak on together that night. And I hope, baby girl, I hope he texted you the following morning because she was also dressed up, well, lack thereof. But I think maybe they met at a club.
Again, like, what business is it of yours if they talk to each other again? Just stay out of other people's business, Mash. You know, you're just trying to get in there. You're trying to look at what's going on. You're behaving like a creep.
All right, I will try to not behave like a creep, but I'll always be concerned if I see cars with lights on at night.
People remember what you've said. So, Mash, you're a hypocrite, says Derek. You wander around with no clothes under your gown, and now you're hitting back at these people.
But there was nothing to show, and I wasn't doing anything in public. That is the difference.
Well, you had your tackle swinging around in front of everybody, and if your gown had just blown open, which it probably did once or twice while you're walking around the complex, people would have seen everything.
No, Gareth, my Willie's gown will not just blow open. It's good. But overall, I am sticking by my morals and my principles, and I will always keep being concerned.
Morals. Your morals. If you had any morals, you'd stay the hell away from a car where people are busy banging. I mean, as soon as you saw what was going on, you should turn around and walk away.
Hey, you know what?
You like those dudes who do patrol, like you know, like those community watch things. Yeah. It's like, what are you going to do if there's something happening?
Ryan, Carl has he thinks it's very funny you use the word plow, which is
I'm plowing into people's business. or people are being plowed
Um,
in BMWs.
being plowed. Viastin says my cousin had a mattress at the back of his 1400 Nissan Bucky. So that's out in the open. See, people have to do what they got to do, Mash.
So is that fine? If I actually went up to that Bucky while they're
Well,
busy on the mattress in the back?
No, stay away.
I mean, you going to hang around and watch? You're going to stand there with your arms folded and like take it all in? Maybe even comment? I can see Mash. You could go a bit faster. You could maybe you could adjust that position a little bit more.
Yeah.
Is that what
Deep
you do?
papa. I definitely will not do that. But if something's fishy going on where that car is parked, I will intervene. I'm like a community, those people like neighborhood watch people, you know. I feel like I should live in like a Kyalami or something.
Actually, yeah, that's true.
A gated community where everybody just looks out for each other. That's where I should be living.
You're just a Karen. That's it. Just
There's
own
no
it.
such thing.
You're a Karen.
By the way, that naked bar is popping up in the comments, Mash. They say, what morals?
Yeah, people are saying, like, how can you talk about other people? You went to a nude bar, and you expected people to not look?
You expect people to look. That's the whole point of a nude bar. But yeah, overall, I was concerned. And I am glad that I was concerned. That car is still parked there, by the way. The Audi still just parked there. Now
nobody knows what's happened there, and no one's claimed it. No one's driven out in it. Nothing.
I actually went past it again yesterday just to see if there's a smell.
Yeah,
but
from
there's
the
no smell. Yes, but I couldn't smell anything yet. So yeah, it's just a waiting game now. Let's see. But something's definitely fishy about it. I was like, what if there's a bomb?
I feel like you should wear a hat like Becky Taylor and walk around like that.
Yeah. I'm here to check what's going on in your car. All right.
Yeah. Speaking of Becky Taylor, Ryan, I think you had an encounter with the cops at some point.
No. We actually got into this yesterday, and I'm sure some people will jump on Friday and tell you about it. But some people got pulled over yesterday, and we were talking about
the cops, right?
About the cops,
traffic police, or the cops.
No, like traffic police, right? So my whole thing is, whenever I get pulled over, it opened up this whole conversation. Whenever I get pulled over, I hate having to listen to these guys like tell me what's going on. I'm just like, write me up so I can leave. Because I'm not. Firstly, I don't want to bribe. I'm not here to cause any trouble like that. I just write me up. I'll figure it out so I can go because I haven't got time. And some people, it was like yesterday, she got pulled over by two women, so she couldn't like float her way out of the situation. So
that's right.
So when I was saying this, Aaron was like, "No, that's not many people do that," and I was like, "No. I do that straight up because I've never actually been written up." As soon as I tell them to do that, they like give me this look and they just tell me to go.
What you just say to the cops straight out, like, write me a ticket.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry.
You don't even bother. You don't bother with any like small talk or anything.
I mean, I'm pleasant. When they pull me over, I get my license out. I give it to them. I'm like, hey guys,
you always should be well mannered. I mean,
yes, no, I agree.
Even if you hate the police, even if they're shitty to you. Like, you should just treat it, because these are people doing their job. Their job is to stop you in your car if they think that there's something suspicious going on. You can't live in society, and when the police are doing their job, get upset with them for doing their job, and they should have left me alone because it's you, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I mean, I had a close encounter the other day. I was this is the story I was telling you, or partially telling you yesterday, Gareth. I almost lost my shit at these cops. I had to really compose myself because. So I just got home. It was a Friday night. I was like, cool, let me order some food because I just got home late. So I'd ordered a pizza. I was on my way to fetch it. And then I got onto my main road on Deckers in the West Rand. And
West Rand,
by the way, by Westgate, right?
How do you do West Side? Is West Side like that?
No, I think it's like that.
Yes.
West Side represent. And so I'm literally on my way to pick up this pizza, and I get stuck in like a drink and driving. I forget what you call it, and they basically just like they put all three lanes into one lane, and they're putting each car off a roadblock. Yeah, essentially. And so I'm wondering what the hell's going on here because it's taking so long. I sat in that line probably, if I'm not mistaken, like 45 minutes. It's now 9:30. And I'm really trying to keep my cool here because I'm furious. Because now, firstly, is the pizza place going to be closed? Am I even going to get my food at the end of the night?
Right.
And why are they doing a roadblock at 8 o'clock by Westgate? There's no clubs around there. Who on earth are you trying to catch?
Because you guys in the West Rand, you start drinking early in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, no. West Rand people start drinking early in the afternoon, but where? There's no bars in the. Well, there's one bar, but it's dead.
Home. West Rand, you told us already.
Maybe.
You West Rand people do these bring-in bries where everybody arrives with their own alcohol.
They own meat.
Right. The cops know what they're doing.
But like at 8:30 at night. So
look,
I eventually got to the front of the line, and
like with Nash, you can't be this oblivious. You said it's a Friday, right?
Yes.
So you know what people do on a Friday afternoon?
No,
They start in the afternoon. They go to boozy lunch with friends. They go to a pub somewhere. They go to each other's houses. They drink at the office, some people. It's Friday.
It's Friday. And also, remember that another thing that I realized is that when I went to the Kevin Hart premiere as well, I remember that road, the main road in Fourways. Actually, it wasn't the main road. It was some other road. I can't remember what road when you're leaving Monty. But that road is dead, like all the time. But that night of the premiere, I took a curb and then all of a sudden there's cops. And it's because of the event. Maybe there might have been an event nearby. I don't know what
Nothing
events
happens in
happened
the
that
West
side.
Rand, Bash. Nothing happens
I'm
in
sure
the
there was
West
some
Rand.
sort of like mud party or something.
Okay.
In the West Rand, there's a couple of murders, that sort of thing.
I get to the front of the line and it's my turn. But now I'm really pissed because at this point I've had to send other people to get my food because I'm waiting in this line so I can turn around. And so I get to the front of the line. I'm like, guys, I'm really trying to keep my composure here, but I'm really pissed off. Like, you guys have really ruined my whole night. I've sat here for 50 minutes. And they're like, no, but you could have turned off. And I'm like, but you blocked all the exits with your police cars. So I was so furious. I said, who do I need to speak to here about this? Because if you guys are going to continue doing this, how can I use these roads to get where I need to go without waiting 50 minutes every Friday night? And he's like, no, you can pull over and speak to our supervisor about it. And I was like, at that point, I was about to explode. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. Just let me do this test so I can, let me just leave because otherwise I'm going to say something.
So they breathalyzed.
But that was, yeah, they did. They breathalyzed everyone, every single person. And that's why I was so mad.
On the West Rand, you got to do that every day. You've got to breathalyze everybody in the West.
I'm the Karen.
If I were mayor of Johannesburg, no, this is not a Karen thing. This is like a public safety thing.
But look, Ryan, this happens everywhere all the time. I'm also used to this. You know, it happens every single day on almost every single day on Rivonia Road on my way home. There's some intersection where they always block off all like 3 lanes. And then everybody must just squeeze through and then they just breathalyze you and so forth. It's something that we're used to. It's just a part of life. At this point, you know, it's not much you can do. And also, I kind of appreciate it because have you ever driven at night and then you actually notice a drunk driver? Do you know how scary that is? You're like, this person is unpredictable. This is somebody I do not want to be driving next to or behind. You see them swaying back and forth. So for me, I think it's a great public service. I feel like drunk drivers should be put behind damn bars where they belong. And yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind waiting an extra 5 minutes on my route to somewhere just to be breathalyzed.
I sat for 45 minutes in the same spot, like because it's 3 lanes merging into one, right?
All right. Well, listen,
So
you two with your Karen or like emotional behavior about cops and all this stuff. There are actual headlines in the world as well. So unemployment, this is important news. Unemployment has eased slightly despite record load shedding. This is interesting. So apparently the official unemployment rate declined to 32.7%, which is only down by 0.2%. But this is what they're excited about. 0.2%. That's like, what, 15 jobs or something?
That's like 15.
But it's come down.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this is despite record levels of load shedding, which was implemented During the more than 200 days of 2022, unemployment hit a record high of 35.3 in the fourth quarter of 2021. So, I mean, if it was at 35.3 and it's down to 32.7, I suppose that's quite a big drop. That's good. That's something to be proud of. That's something to be happy about. So, listen.
That's something, yeah.
It's good news. It's the corporate labor force survey, which they're talking about, showed 169,000 jobs were gained between the third and fourth quarters of 2022. The biggest job gains in the finance, private households, which means like domestic workers, gardeners, that kind of thing, trade and transport sectors. Job losses were, however, recorded in the community and social services, agriculture, and construction sectors. So listen, we'll take it, right?
Even if it's whatever we can get. Yeah. It's not a lot, but it's something. For once, it's going up. For once.
Yeah. Unemployment is coming down. Employment's going up, which is very good news.
Exactly.
Apparently, ministers now have the power to exempt ports, railways, and hospitals from load shedding. So in other words, if you're a minister, you can press a button or you can make a call, and then the minister can have the port retain power even during load shedding.
Why are ports getting load shedding to begin with?
Well, because we need our ports to work so that the economy works, Mash. This is all very, very important. Government has issued new regulations as part of the national state of disaster for load shedding, because we're in a state of disaster at the moment. And I'm not even being sarcastic. That's what the government call it, which could make it easier to sell and generate power and will give ministers the power to exempt some facilities from load shedding. So earlier this month, the Minister for Corrupt. That's funny. Sorry. The Minister for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, that's Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, gazetted a new decision in the state of disaster. On Monday, she gazetted a disaster regulation aimed at boosting electricity generation and improving Eskom's plant performance, but also exempt load shedding on essential infrastructure. So that means hospitals, water treatment plants, rail, ports, food production, and storage facilities, as well as critical electronic communication and broadcasting infrastructure, cannot just be switched off when there's load shedding. So I suppose this is probably a good thing.
That's a good thing. I'm surprised that ports were getting load shedding to begin with. That's the most surprising part. They're basically the foundation and framework of our economy.
Certainly also, when it's importing and exporting, we don't want our ports being switched off because stupid Eskom can't do their job. It is an essential service, so they should have. Listen, frankly, I think the whole country should be exempt from load shedding, but we know what that answer would be, right?
Also, properties are going to go up because now if you can get a property that's on the hospital grid, I mean, you'll never have load shedding. I've got a friend who's like living on the same grid as the Krugersdorp Hospital. Barely has load shedding.
Most hospitals are getting load shedding either way, so I don't know which hospitals those are. Because a lot of hospitals are getting load shedding, and I was actually talking to just someone who's in medicine as well, and they were telling me that listen, all the hospitals are getting load shedding, or most of the hospitals in the East Rand are rather, and they actually had to get UPSs to actually try to that switchover period between the generator and the power going off. It's actually quite crucial, and they've actually had people pretty much almost die because of that. So they actually had to get battery packs and UPSs for the oxygen and all of that, just to keep people alive in that gap.
No, they should be, as Matthew says, on their own power grid, hospitals and ports and things like that. I just wish that we all had enough power, and if we had a good government, we would have enough power. But they don't know what they're doing. All right, so Slippery Pickle says, this is interesting. I like acting super drunk at roadblocks. I find if you talk to the breathalyzer like it's a smart device, that elicits the best reaction from the cops. And then they get like, oh, we got to nail this guy. And then when your breathalyzer result comes back and you're totally sober, they're like, oh, they shake it, they check this thing working, they need to do it again. I think that's brilliant. But you have to be sure. You just have to be sure that your result's going to come back 0. Because it could be you're going to be in big shit if you come back with any alcohol on the breath at all.
So what's the best way to go about it then if you have alcohol in your system? should you just confess before taking the breathalyzer?
Use ways.
If you're already in this situation with the cops and they're already like, listen, blow this. What is the best?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first started driving, my cousin gave back when you still had a bit of leniency on that drinking scale, whatever. You could still have one drink. You could be like 0.3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember my cousin saying to me, always keep a bottle of cough mixture in your car, so that if they pull you over and you have a bit of alcohol in your breath, you can always say you just took some cough mixture. I don't know. I never had to use it, but I wonder how that would work.
So I've heard that if you take a really strong mint or like a Halls or something like that, it can also mess with the system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what I do as well.
But I haven't tried that, so I can't speak with experience that it worked. Listen, I just think it's really important that you're polite with the cops for starters, because if you start off being rude and combative and you swear at them and all that sort of thing, it's just not going to go well for you. Really.
No, it's not. It's never gonna. My strategy is always just act dumb. Dumb. And just act dumb. That's it. And be polite, of course. And also I like speaking in like my native language. I like speaking Sotho, but like the hectic Sotho, not the Sotho I speak here in Joburg, but like the one from Lesotho. And I'm like, yeah, hey, dumelang tate. That's how I talk. And they like shame. And then I just act like I'm new in Santon. You know, I'm like, no, I've never been to Santini. I just got here. I didn't know. We can have 3 drinks. I didn't know. And then they just let me go. They just let me go immediately. And they're like, oh, Ntate, it's fine. It's fine, my boy. And they just let me go. That's the strategy. It works for me.
So I'm glad it works for you. Dr. Robin says here in East London, which is, I think that used to be a city in South Africa, but it's like a dump now. Here in East London, none of our hospitals are exempt, and my husband has a small business based in the harbour, and they definitely get shed dramatically. Yeah, I'm afraid, when you're in the Eastern Cape, you just have to take whatever you can get. I'm surprised you guys are even getting 2 hours a day of electricity. Just
very shocking.
Such a toilet. It's such a toilet.
Shame, man. It's not that bad. Oh, yes. And Slippery Pickle just mentioned.
We got a call here from the Eastern Cape. Yeah, go ahead. In the Eastern Cape, go ahead. No. All right.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, thank you very much. Our caller from the Eastern Cape.
Oh, yeah. Quite rude.
Very rude.
At least there's still... Yeah?
Parallel parking, pointing out the obvious here, Mash. The best approach is to not drink and drive. Obvious.
That is the best approach. Yeah. But speaking of Eastern Cape and East London and all of those places, some people are leaving the country. I believe people are actually really leaving the country at the moment. I have a couple of friends that left the country, and people are really fed up. Last night, I was with a friend of mine, my friend who lives at Waterfall, and she actually came through to get water from my place. They haven't had water at Munyaka for a couple of days. And the lagoon's opening today that side. So I'm going to go swim, and I think they're going to bath there. But anyway, so they haven't had water for like 3 days straight. And she is just fed up. She is fed up. She's like, look, I haven't been bathing properly. I've just been like taking a taxi driver bath, just wiping essential areas. And I am fed up. Yes. So she said, look, I am looking to leave this country. I am fed up and I am tired. And that's the current narrative at the moment. And I believe, Ryan, you also have friends who want to leave this country.
You went to the airport to see 2 people off yesterday who are leaving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They already left.
Yeah, both to Ireland. So they got on separate flights. One left in the morning, one left in the evening, but they're on the same connecting flight. So that's really funny. But this is the thing. They got a couple jobs there, and it was pretty easy for them to get work there. I mean, they're struggling to get work here. They went to Ireland my one friend went there like a month or two ago to do some interviews. Got the jobs. He got all seven that he went for. He got all of them, and basically could just take his pick of whichever one he wanted. And yeah, so he's on a flight now.
Wow.
Well, I just wonder, because we're not losing useless people. We're not losing people who can afford to lose. I mean, a lot of the people who are leaving are young. A lot of them are newly qualified. A lot of them have qualifications in precisely the jobs that we need filled. And I'm just worried, like, who's going to be left at the end? I mean, like, we all the people who either don't have an option. I don't know. I mean, this is something we've got to think about. Yeah, go ahead. How's it? Good morning.
How's everybody? Ron Mash.
Yeah, what's up?
So,
Hi.
no, I was thinking about the arrogant thing.
Yeah.
So, we had an incident with we have a little Skorkie. He's from Boxburg. He's a Spoodle Cross Yorkie.
Yeah.
And he's very excitable. He runs like a bullet. Anyway, there was a little boy walking his dog. And ours quickly escaped and went to go and investigate and was jumping up and down and being a bit of a nuisance. So he ran after him, not me. And, yeah. Anyway, the boy was fine. Our dog didn't bite anyone. But the father came out of the complex, right? Because obviously he saw the commotion. And it comes walking, and they've got, when you see, where you come cock. When you see it.
Right.
And I just said to everybody, don't say a fucking word. Because this oak's now venting and he's aggro. I'm going to kill your dog if it bites. You bite my child and it bites my dog. I'll kill your dog.
Oh.
And I'm just like, okay, sir, he's a puppy. We apologize. I really hope, keep it cool. I'm looking at my partner going, don't say a word. Because this oak is waiting for an excuse. The type.
Yeah, he's an aggressive, one of those assholes who's just looking for someone to argue with and fight with because he's got an unhappy life. His wife hates him. His kids don't like him.
Exactly.
Now he needs to take it out on someone else, right?
Exactly. And it's those kind of doers that we all have to just de-escalate and move away from because they're the ones that cause the shit at bars. They're the ones that get into you checked my chick. We went to the
right.
We went to the Jacqueline's because I was roped in to the 80s Joel party this weekend. And 2 chicks got into it. 2 chicks. The one little small chick blixened another chick, and not just pushing him head.
What's your name?
It's Ruth.
Ruth. Listen, these people who get into fights, especially when it's girls who get into fights, I find that is so it's so off-putting and disgusting, especially when it's because girls fight way dirtier than guys. They pull hair, they scratch, they go for the eyes. Yeah, it's much more vicious and violent with women than it is with men. Am I right?
100%. I think oaks actually seriously underestimate chicks. And when I say chicks, I mean with all respect, women.
No, you're absolutely right. All right, thank you.
Bye.
Be careful of these guys who run up to you and I'm gonna really fuck you up if your dog goes near my children.
See, these are the guys that go to Billy the Bums. I heard that place might be closed.
Yeah, finally. Hey.
It is closed.
Is it closed?
But eventually, it became. I mean, listen, that place used to be the place that you would go after everything else closed. Yeah. I'm kind of relieved. I have to admit to you, I'm honestly quite relieved that they don't exist anymore.
So where do the fighters go now?
I don't know. You got to ask Gord. Next time he's on the show, we'll ask him. Yeah. All those angry people hang out in the parking lot. They're looking for a fight.
Bullshit.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
Promise you.
Jeez.
Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of aggressive people. But when last did you see 2 girls fighting like Ruth was telling us now? Because that's frightening.
I haven't seen that in a while. Even in the clubbing days, it was rare. But when it happened, it's because then the whole club gets involved. 2 guys, everyone just shoves them out and they must sort out their issues. But when the girls go at it, then guys get involved because
and girls. Whole mess. And you're right, Gareth. Girls do fight dirty.
Very dirty.
Last fight I saw is the one I shared with you guys in December at the Amstel event. So that was pretty wild.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember
wow.
that.
Every
Horrible.
time you guys bring up female fights, I always bring up that one scenario where that girl said, "Look, my friend's nose was bitten off by another girl at the club," and that's what happens.
remember that.
And all my friends have one rule. All my female friends only have one rule. They always say, if you're gonna fight another girl, never fight somebody uglier than you. Because they have nothing to lose and they want to level the playing field, you know?
That is,
they want to
that's
scratch you,
excellent
they want to bite
That
your
is
nose off,
excellent.
bite your bottom lip, they want to
Speaking-
make you.
Which, would you fight with this girl? Just take a look at this. I think it's a girl, but I don't want to be rude before you've seen the video. So if you're on the YouTube, this is the benefit of being on YouTube with us in the morning, is you get to see the stuff as well as hear it. So take a look at this. Would you get into a fight with this person?
Besties, so this is the quick fit check. We have the lavender top, the pencil skirt, and the gloves, and of course, Space Girl glasses. I hope everybody's being safe tonight, and I love you guys so much. Love you.
This is why I won't go on TikTok. If things like that live on TikTok, you can't afford to go there. It's too dangerous.
She looks like a villain in a Marvel movie.
Who's going to try and explain what this person looks like to the audience who's listening on the podcast? Because there's nothing more frustrating than you hear people talk. This is a scary looking person. This is a very, very, very obese. Face is like wider than it is long.
No neck.
No neck. I would say no features. I mean, there's a point where she kind of lets you. She's wearing sunglasses, bad ones, by the way. The hair is also middle parting, looks greasy. It's long. Really, lots and lots of makeup, but no facial features at all. Like, it's hard to tell where the nose is and where the lips are. Very, very frightening looking person, this. And she goes, "I love you all." Like, who does she think she is? Michael Jackson? And she's got all these fans.
But shame, Gareth. You
No,
know
no.
what I I
this
do
is
like
why
though is the confidence.
What irritates
No.
me, I'm sorry, about TikTok is that I don't admire the confidence. This person should not be confident. This person should be ashamed of the way that they behave and the way they dress and the way they look. And they should not think that there are people who are following them because they're fans of theirs on social media. I don't know who that is, but to me, that is a typical example of someone who should not be on social media. Just not allowed. Sorry, full stop.
Gareth,
No
Gareth,
social media for her.
I always say this to everyone that I meet, especially meetings and so forth. I always say that TikTok has changed the landscape and I love it. Back when even Instagram now copying TikTok has actually allowed people, because in the past, I'm sure you guys have seen, you guys have been on Instagram for quite some time as well. But in the past, Instagram always used to be about the biggest ass, the smallest waist, who has the abs, who has the biggest arms, biggest biceps, triceps, you know, all of that.
Isn't it still?
And no, not anymore. Now it's about your personality. And that's something I appreciate so much about social media nowadays, is that anybody, no matter how you look, you can blow up, you can be someone on social media, you can be admired and loved despite how you look.
No one
That's
loves.
a good
No one
thing.
loves that person. Who's lining up to be friendly and sweet to that person? I mean, the only
If
reason
that's her
it even
person-
came up with "Be safe, everybody. I love you." Who's she talking to?
To her probably million followers. And I think
Oh
it's
my
a
God.
good
I don't think
thing.
so.
I think social media nowadays has actually empowered people who never had the chance to have a voice in the past. And that's a good thing. That's something we should be celebrating.
No,
We should
I think it's gone
No.
too far. It's gone too far. I don't want. And as Congo Chris says, "Okay, Mash, you go hang out with her."
I gladly will, because she honestly looks like an absolute vibe. She feels herself. She feels confident.
just-
And I know she'll treat me like a normal human being.
Well, you
No,
guys
she
can
won't.
go and do your loser corner stuff then together. You can go and sit around with each other and complain about all the good looking people together. mean, I know why you'd want to hang around with someone like that.
Because their personality is popping. I've been around good-looking people who are so
What
uptight,
personality?
and they act.
He's just. How did you get any sense of personality out of that short clip? There's like 12 seconds there, and in it she says nothing interesting. She's talking to people who she supposes she has fans, and she's like, "Be safe, everybody. I love you," but she doesn't say anything. How do you think she has personality, Mash? Where do you get that from?
I'm a be real with you. I would have been one. If I saw that TikTok myself, I would have commented, "We love you too. I love you too," because I sense the personality, the way she just carries herself and she's feeling herself, despite how she may look to other people. And that's something to celebrate. And I've been around people who are good looking and they are uptight. You find these people
you hang around with that fat, ugly person, and I'll hang around with the good looking ones. We'll see who ends up having a better night.
I will.
You see, Gareth, this is a perfect example of someone like Andrew Tate who promotes, looking good and being healthy and all that, gets cancelled and thrown in jail. And then you have someone like Mash talking about, no, they look good, they must do this, they must do that. Like, I don't know. I feel like
I'm going to bet you any money. Listen, Mash, I don't believe you, first of all. I think you're saying you'd hang out with her, but I think you'd be the first one to say, "Whoa, what's that girl wearing?" I think you would.
Yeah. No, I absolutely will. I've been around good-looking people, and most of the time, good-looking people are uptight. Some of them, their net worth is just the phone they have, and they act like they are they act richer than thou, and they act all types of ways. They don't want to talk. They are pouting their lips. I can't.
I just don't believe you. I'm with Annette. Annette says, "How can you love someone you don't even know, Mash? That's just crazy talk." Exactly.
You can love. I get lots of comments. People say they love me on social media.
I think but you believe them? Because then you're the idiot. I mean, I don't think you're being honest. I think you're saying you love somebody you've never met. I think you just want to sound like a nice person.
I don't love her, but I mean, what I mean is, I like her page. I like her personality. I like what she's putting.
Who is
out
she?
there.
Because until I showed you that video, did you know she existed?
I didn't, but I am saying that if I did,
we can't believe you. You are no longer trustworthy, Mash. That's what you've taught us this morning. First of all, you snoop around cars full of people having sex in basements. Second of all, you're the kind of person who decides to go and buy ice cream at 1:00 in your kimono. And third of all, you're in love with people on the internet that you've never met before. You're very you're not trustworthy, Mash. This is what you're proving to us.
I'm new age.
No, I think you're doing what a lot of people on the internet do, and I'm not saying it's just you. I think millions and millions of people do exactly what Mash has just done now. You say things about people that you don't really believe, but you want other people to think you're a nice person because you'd hang around with that fat, monstrous-looking woman. You say that you'd be nice to her, and you would sit and talk to her, and you'd be her friend, and you even said you love her. I just don't believe you. I'm sorry. I just think you're talking shit. I think you're lying.
Also, Gareth, Signet's right. It's not fat. It's enormous.
Yes, it's enormous.
Yes, that's correct.
You know what? Whether y'all agree with me or not, audience, just don't forget to like and subscribe more than anything.
Or love and subscribe. And Mash, by the way, I mean, you may end up being maybe you are a better person than me and Ryan. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to hang around her. She looks like she could eat you.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Oh man.
Someone says that we could make a show out of you two. It could be Mash and Potato. Future reality. All right.
There we go.
All right. Listen, that's all we got time for now. We got to get to our special uncancelled episode with Unathi. So let me give you the background to this very briefly. Cancel culture has led to the cancellation of several South African celebrities for all kinds of reasons. So it should not be surprising that we are on that list, me and Unathi. In our first episode, media personality Unathi has a candid conversation with me in front of a live audience about everything you've ever wanted to know. She talks extensively about how she was fired from KayaFM, how her family encouraged her to sue the station. She also reveals the real reason for the breakdown of her relationship with Somizi. And we get a glimpse of the incredible relationship that she has with her father. This is the podcast where we uncancel culture. It's hashtag uncancelled. So, Mash and Ryan, we will see you on the show next week. And Mash, try not to go up and snoop around cars. And Ryan, don't get arrested in roadblocks. The two of you are worrying me. It's like we've got to send someone around with just to make sure that you nothing bad happens to the two of you. All right, we've got Uncancelled coming up next. Stick around for that and a whole lot more. CliffCentral.com. It is the 1st of March, and it's a Wednesday.
What did I do for Valentine's Day? I didn't do anything, I didn't get anything. But Mash did. Mash got a delivery to the office. Take a look.
Well, as far as gossip goes, I don't want to give away too much, but I'm not going to say who, but one person got bitten by a zebra. A zebra actually bit his ass, and he told us accidentally today over lunch because he was talking about a zebra burger. And the second bit of hot goss, I'm not going to say who, but somebody's partner has told them to cleanse their blood. So he literally, I keep saying he or she has been handed a bottle to clean their blood. I'm not going to say who, you guys can decide.
Not to be taken by pregnant and breastfeeding women.
What drink cleans your blood? Just water.
Name something interesting I learned this week. I learned that people actually clean their blood with some sort of liquid stuff.
What you can expect for the next season of the third draft is just awesomeness personified. We have really cool content creators lined up. They're going to be talking about how much money they're making and just also learning, some of the tips, tricks to get into the industry.
What to expect from the Gareth Cliff Show this year? New guests, some really cool people, great conversation, and a lot more interaction from you, audience members.
We can't be sharing toilets with you guys. You guys don't know how to pee.
This week on the Auto Trader podcast.
But I didn't know that the cameras in South Africa were...
Okay.
It's not in South Africa, in Joburg were not working. A lot of opportunities lost there for...
No, I can't believe you just said that. Opportunities lost. You're promoting speeding.
No, don't speed. This is...
The opportunity cost of speeding is landing in jail.
Yeah, don't. I take that back. Don't speed. But yeah, so for the last year, since May 2021 is the official number, basically the contract for the cameras had lapsed.
Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
All right, it is time for the first of our new series called Uncancelled, the first episode of this. I'm very excited to premiere it, debut it on the show here this morning with my dear friend Unathi Nkayi, who's always fascinating. She's one of the best people to talk to. She's got stories for days. She opens up about everything. She's an absolute sweetheart, and she probably can teach all of us a thing or two about how to listen, first of all, when your parents, even if you're in your 40s, you should sometimes take your parents' advice if they're still around and you have a relationship with them. Also, she and her husband, ex-husband, have handled divorce in a way that seems to me to be exemplary. Their kids are all grown up, and it's just incredible what a mother and a career woman Unathi is. But also, she gets into the down and dirty about her arguments and her dismissal from her previous employer. She talks about how she's fighting back on that front. She also talks about how her relationship with Somizi has deteriorated. And she's very honest, upfront, straightforward. I just love that about her. So here it is. Without any further ado, our first episode of unCancelled, the first of many. And we would love you to join us for the next one. We will be selling tickets a little closer to the time. It's about a month from now. And we will make those tickets available. We'll let you know as soon as the guest is confirmed. But it's not just sitting in the audience being a part of this, which is great enough. But also when you come, you will be shown around our new offices, which are amazing. You'll also be given some incredible food because we have partners there who just provide the most amazing food. You could ask anybody who was there at the last one. And also drink, meet some of the people behind the scenes at cliffcentral.com. We want you to be part of our family. So we're doing this now, taking podcasting and video casting to the next level and doing it with a live studio audience. All of this is happening with unCancelled, and you get to see the first episode right now. So stick around for this and a whole lot more. cliffcentral.com, taking things forward and taking things up a level. I've already given her a little bit of an intro, but she's also been a friend of mine since 2001. So in doing this, you don't want to just invite anybody. So I invited someone who I love to pieces. I think we could have in another time and place been married. We would have had such beautiful children. But, God, I love you. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. There ain't no damage from my point of view. Unathi Nkayi. All right.
So my damaged goods, G?
No, God, no. You're perfect.
Hi, baby.
So, okay, the idea here, and I said it already, is that we're going to talk about everything because it's not a profile interview. There are a lot of things people want to know about you. You haven't been speaking to anyone in the press recently, but you've been picking up your boxing gloves and you're fighting with a couple of people, which I think is brave because you've never been one to allow people to walk all over you.
Sure.
So we got to cover that ground because these people didn't come here for their health.
Sure. And as TT aptly put it, it's a school night.
It is a school night.
It's a school night. So when you get me out of my house, make sure it's worth it, my love.
Well, this is also your house now.
Thank you.
So first of all, you've had so much going on. I mean, people probably know most of what we are together from Idols.
Yeah.
And you found out that you weren't doing that show anymore from the media.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know, right?
Well, I found out because they fired me or tried, and then I took them to court and beat their asses.
And they apologized for how they treated you.
But actually, I mean, Unathi and I can be honest about this because we've had, a long relationship here. But when I went back on the show after the court forced them to put me back on the show, she was angry with me. I mean, you cried. We had that dinner, and you shouted at me, and you stormed out, and you were in tears, and I had to come and
I forgot about that.
I had to come and give you a big hug.
It was at the Hilton.
Mm-hmm. In Durban. First, it was 2 days after
I need a tissue. You're going to make me cry from the beginning. I completely forgot about that dinner.
I haven't.
Did I hurt your feelings that day?
No, because you were justified. I mean, I'd caused a lot of upset unintentionally. And we were both, I think, full of emotion, which is something that you rarely find me in.
Yeah. Can I share our conversation?
Go on.
I think for me, what got me about the Gareth moment, I forgot about that. I'm so sure.
I wasn't laying it as a trap.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is I forgot how raw that dinner was for us. That's what I'm saying. For me, the monkeys on a beach, we all remember that story. And I'm a qualified journalist. I've studied and I've gone to Rhodes University and I studied at the University of Utrecht for my craft. So I fully understood you and what you were fighting for. But as a black woman who grew up as a foreigner in Namibia, in the UK, in the Netherlands, I couldn't allow you to forget that about us and me. And that was the conversation we had to have as an Idols family, from the execs, from the channel, down to the production. And that was the conversation. And I literally said to G, I said, G, it's so weird because it's scientific for us. You know, salt is the most powerful cleansing resource in the world. And that's why we go to the beach.
No, but I knew that. It
Yes,
wasn't
of
my
course.
comment.
Yeah, and no, of course. You know. And in the conversations we were having, I was explaining scientifically, as a Black people, salt is a very powerful cleansing resource for us. And for people who can't afford it, but also spiritually, ritually, we cleanse at the end of one year and we begin the new year. So for her to say monkeys at a beach, and for you to say she's just, yes, she's not the smartest woman.
You will remember, I mean, this is like old territory now, but it's worth going over one last time.
Yeah.
That my issue was Musi Mamane's post about freedom of speech.
Yeah,
and
completely.
It all became part of this story.
Yeah.
But I think you were also angry with me because we had been kind of pitched against each other, and people said, oh, Unathi said this and she didn't get fired, and how come he did? You know, and that was a story later on that year.
Yeah.
When you got into trouble and Somizi got into trouble as well.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like sometimes the trouble follows us.
Yeah.
Sometimes we make it for ourselves. But I like that we had like a proper moment of conflict.
But we always do.
Because it was honest, you know?
Yeah. But
people don't do that anymore. They pretended on the Kardashians, but this was real.
But I think for me, and that's why, you know, you got me so emotional. I completely forgot that moment because we have these moments throughout our life. So, you know, it's not the only one we've had. It wasn't the first. We've always been genuine with each other.
So, I mean, 6 years on that TV show, but we met each other
I forgot about that meeting.
in 2001 when you were doing Castle Loud.
Yeah.
And we had...
You were at 702 at the time.
That's right. I put you on 702 with me on Celebrity Survivor. I made you eat, what, sheep's testicles and things.
Yeah.
She's never forgiven me for that either. Also, secretly,
it wasn't the right thing to
secretly,
show.
it prepared her for divorce. You know, I got on the phone with her the other day, and her son was there, and Snako said hello, and he's a man.
Hello, Uncle Gareth.
And I suddenly realized, Jesus, we're old.
Yeah.
Because in this business, I think it's harder on women than it is on men, but you are, they tell you you're old. They don't hold back, you know?
No, they don't. And it's a conversation I was having with Dumi in the volume.
Oh, yes.
Stogie. And ageism is rife in women and in the hip-hop fraternity.
Oh, yeah.
It's an insecurity, Gareth. Like, okay, I'm old. I still kick your ass.
No, I know.
It's an insecurity for me. So for someone who, like, there's a guy who's hitting on me, right? Weirdly enough.
No, it does happen.
No, shush, man. But he says to me, "Ow, sexist gogwana."
Oh no.
So do you know what I mean? And I'm like,
45.
No, he's much older than me. I think he's like, well, not much older. He's whatever, man. I don't care about age. He's older than me. But I'm looking at it going, so I'm gonna say yes to you? Oh, sexist gogwana. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's an insecurity that I see that people project. People started calling me Sis Unathi at 24.
Yeah.
24.
Yo.
I was at YFM. Mpoma Boy was the first person, actually. She's the one who gave me the sissy thing. Because I was at YFM, and then she arrived, and she was a newbie. And then she was like, sis. And I'm like, you don't have to call me sis. And she's like, no, but you're old. And I'm like, I'm 24. Also, I don't like defending oldness. So I'm like, do you, boo? Do you want to call me sissy? She's like, yes, I'd feel better. Then I was like, okay. Weird. I'm 24, but I'm your sissy. And then literally, I was at YFM. So for me, I've always...
It's like the youngest station in the country.
Do you know what I mean? So I've always like looked at ageism like, it's your issue, Makai. Like so if...
Yeah, but it's nice to be born beautiful.
No, but thank you.
I mean, do me a favor. You know how I've struggled. The hunchback of Sandhurst.
Thank you. But
Well, it
think
used to
about
be
it.
Ravonia. Look,
But ageism goes both ways, right? Think about it. How many people bitched about Billie Eilish not having deserved the accolade of writing an original song for the score of Bond?
Yeah, sure.
So ageism goes both ways. It's either you're too old or too young, and that's why I'm like.
but
these people
everybody's
have
also
issues.
going. Everybody's going through that too, because, again, to not bring up this whole episode we went through for 2 years with COVID, but people look in the mirror like they go, "What happened? 2 years went by, and maybe I didn't go to gym. Maybe I did. I mean, you've stayed in shape.
I've
You look
had
fantastic.
to. Thank you. I've had to.
But a lot of us haven't necessarily, kept up.
You look great, Eugene.
And we
Stop
ate-
it. He's doing this. He's like me.
Eugene took a house for a year on the beach and didn't talk to anyone.
He came to my hood. He came to GQ.
They've tried with you to cancel you,
They
right? And
continuously try.
people still go, there's no such thing as cancel culture. I'm like, yeah, you say that to me when you've experienced it. They've tried to do it to you, TV, radio,
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
and you fought all of them. And sometimes it's pretty tiring, and it can be really hard. And anyone these days anybody here can have this happen to them, right? You don't have to be a megastar, a superstar, a huge, powerful industry player. You could just be someone with 20 followers, and you could get something like this happen to you.
Yeah.
And Muzi Kuzwayo is here, said to me once when a lot of this shit was
When your
going
shit
down.
was happening.
Yes.
he
said
gave
to
you the
me-
Muhammad Ali allergy.
He gave me the Muhammad Ali allergy and said, sometimes you just got to let them knock you out, take the count, and get back up again.
Yeah.
But like, what's your thing there? What's your secret there? Because you keep coming.
Do I even have a secret, G? Because I think, like Eugene was saying, we don't have a choice, dude. Like, my Temba's here. Temba, where you at? We met earlier on. Yeah, hi, Temba. Yes, of course. I saw I was looking for the beard. And I was telling Temba that I'll never forget him because he shares a name with my grandfather. I'm the only grandchild my grandfather named. He didn't name me, he didn't give me my first name, Unathi. He gave me my second name, Fundiswa, which means I am the one who is to be educated on behalf of the family. A grandfather who wasn't educated, a grandmother who never went to school. My parents, both of them, left South Africa for 10 years, didn't see their parents because apartheid didn't want us to be educated. So we had to go and live abroad, not see our families. These are the sacrifices my lineage has made for me. Who are you?
To cancel.
No, to think you even can. Do you know what I mean? Like, people don't understand. My destiny was given to me when I was still in my mother's womb. When my paternal grandfather said, she will break the family curse. So when you are born with that behind you, and then it's implemented.
Pressure.
6 months after I was born, my family moved to Namibia because my parents had to finish their education. We lived in Namibia for 4 years. Then we moved to the UK. We stayed there till I was 12. We came back here. Who are you to not understand what my family has done to make me who I am?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I go to school to study and qualify for what I'm doing. Honestly, sitting at home with your phone, with the data that you've bought, in your anger, because you don't cancel people.
This is something though.
With
sorry,
love.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is something that we used to talk. People always said, "What do you guys talk about when the cameras aren't rolling on idols?" Because they would do takes. Most of it
They would wait for us to finish conversations.
And the conversations.
Hey guys, do you
were
mind if
often-
we get back to the show?
I mean, the conversations are sometimes filthy.
Yeah.
Like we weren't even.
You and Randall are disgusting.
You
I just-
are one to
I had
talk.
to keep up with you guys.
Jesus, I've never
you
heard
and Randall will
from
tell
a
me.
woman's mouth those things you said.
Fuck your life.
But sometimes
You and Randall are filthy.
I remember a conversation in the dressing room at, I think it was Wild Coast Sun, and the press, you people, were giving Somizi like
You
hell.
people.
Not all of you. No. In fact, I don't see anyone here that I have a problem with. But
no.
But trust me, they're out there. I'm sure Unathi has them too. But I remember you guys talking about how, especially the black press, treated celebrities like playthings, and they wanted to fuck you up.
Yeah.
It was like they want the only joy that some journalist could have was to tear you to pieces.
I remember there was a lady, and I don't know if people remember her because it was a very long time ago. And I remember it was, I released my debut music album. So also that's another thing I had to deal with, right? Because I broke out in TV, Castle Loud, everyone's like, yes, she's the TV babe. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm actually the educated one, so I'll do whatever I want. And then why took me? And they're like, yeah, but you can't do TV and radio. You can't do both.
Open up the industry.
Squeeze us in.
Remember.
I only have size for a 22 when you look like a 38, my brother. I'm kidding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I released my debut album. There was a lady called Sis Gugu, and she was the head of Shwa Shwi back in the day.
Yeah, I remember Shwa Shwi.
And there was your You magazines when they were still tabloidy.
Yeah.
When they would destroy us, Heat. No, Heat came after. Sis Gugu literally called me and she said, these are my banking details. You will deposit 5,000 Rand.
Oh.
She called me and I said, I don't do that. And she said, Unathi, I will destroy you. I said, try.
Wow.
I was signed to Ghetto Rough at the time. I called Lance and then I said, Lance, this woman called me. I've never heard of this, whatever. He goes, oh, no, there's a term for it. It's called Bayola. I said, oh, wow, is it a thing? And Lance was like, yes. And he's like, so what do you want us to do about it? I said, Lance, I've just written a song that's on the Tsotsi soundtrack, and we've just won an Oscar. The first song I wrote won Song of the Year for you, for Zola. First song I wrote in my life, just gave you Song of the Year for Zola. The second song I wrote is on the Tsotsi soundtrack, and we have an Oscar. I said, and are you genuinely asking me what we must do? I was like, nah, nigga.
I love when you get like fucking gangster. I mean, you never saw this on TV, right?
This is us backstage,
baby.
sorry.
She goes, oh, honey. She goes, oh,
They
honey.
don't know the side of me,
sing that
sorry.
again for us. You're so beautiful. People are like, she's so sweet. She's so nice.
I'm far from sweet.
Yeah.
I'm far from sweet. Literally, I was like, what are you saying? Like, do you not trust what you have here?
In which hole is she buried?
Oh man, like find her and tell her I love her and yo, peace out. So for me to answer your question, I don't have secrets or like a secret way of dealing with life. I surrender. I am obedient. I am actively faithful. I was born an orator. There's nothing I can do about it. This is what I was deemed to be. Whether you like it or not, I guess when you want to cancel me, unfollow me, mute me. I say the same.
Because you're not going to stop.
No, I can't. I don't have a choice. You know what I mean?
So you're suing the pants off of Kaya.
I like the way you know my secrets. Then you're like,
no.
He's like, I like it. He's so calm about it. He's like,
she's going for the jugular. I'm proving the point. You're not just saying it. You're doing it.
I've started it. I've done it already. So I started litigation against Kaya beginning of Feb. Yeah.
No, she's not.
Why are you
not
nervous
speaking.
about it? No,
she
no.
hasn't spoken about this.
I haven't. Yeah. Why are you nervous about it? It's just the way you were like, wow. Oh, was it you, TT? Sorry, my love. TT, what? Your wow caught me. Why were you like your wow was?
He's never seen balls on a woman before.
No, So okay, you want to talk about it?
Well, as much as you can. I don't want to get in the way of it.
Okay, so 2021, they fire me. 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 a.m. I got the email. I'm in Port Elizabeth, I'm in Gqeberha. Sorry, my peoples. I'm in GQ.
Yes.
So we call it GQ. I'm in GQ with Prince KB.
Mm-hmm.
We've hired a holiday house looking over the harbor. He's like, let's make some music. I'm like, cool. I say to him, yo, behind the scenes, there's some shit going down with Kaya. I've been suspended. He's like, it's okay. I'll get it. I'll make you forget about it. Let's disappear. We get there, first day, second day, third day, I get an email, 10 o'clock, I've been fired. 6 minutes after 10, they've sent out the press release. We fired the bitch. So it was a double story. And so Kabelo, Prince KB, we're there with his team. His keyboardist, producer, there's guitarist. So there are about 8 of us in the house. I'm the only female. So I cook during the day, they make the music, we make music. It's beautiful. It's like 10-day getaway. So all our bedrooms are upstairs and the entertainment area is downstairs. He's next to me. So I send him a WhatsApp. I'm like, are you awake? He says, yes. I said, do you want to come through or must I come through to his bedroom? So he says, I'm coming through. He comes to my bedroom. I say, I'm fired. He goes, what do you want to do? So I say, I just need to deal with my family. I just need to make sure that they don't get aunts and uncles. I just need to make sure my mom, dad, my kids are fine. So he says, what do you need? I said, give me 30 minutes. We'll get into it. First person I call is my mom. She's like, you're going to sue them. I said, no, I'm not. She says, you're going to sue them. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. I'm not going to do anything. She says, you're going to sue them. I said, okay, ma. You know my parents. So I go, okay, ma. She says, have you spoken to your dad? So I said, no, I'm going to call daddy now. Because I know you're the more emotional one. I needed to. Are you fine?
First.
She's like, I'm fine. You're going to use this constitution that we have, which is one of the best in the world, and you're going to sue. Do you hear me? So I go, ewe ma.
Okay.
At my age. Call my dad. My dad's like, how are you? So I say, I'm numb, weirdly enough. So he goes, that's fine. How are you and Kabelo? So I'm like, we're making great music. He says, that's fine. He says, have you told the kids? So I said, no, I wanted to tell you and mom first. He says, what does your mom say? I said, mom says I'm going to sue. He says, what do you say? I say, I'm tired. Dad says, I'm calling David now. Feinberg.
All right.
Our
Wow.
pit bull.
Got to have a lawyer.
He calls David. David calls me. He says, mom and dad have spoken to me. They've told me you don't want to sue. They're telling me that you are going to sue. So we're suing. That's how it happened. But then my dad said to me, don't rush. Give it a year. Because, I come from a family of ancestral healers, not spiritual healers. We've had this conversation. Not izangoma, not inyanga. I have to say it in Xhosa, then I'll translate it. Which are ancestral healers. So we get given things. And my dad was like, you're not going to touch them for at least a year. So I'm like, why? He's like,
I just know.
No, he said it. He said they're going to turn on each other. So I said, there's no way. I'm like, did you see how they ganged up on me? I'm like, Daddy, there's no way they're going to turn on each other. He said to me, Mdanam, our people have told me that I must tell you, you're going to wait a year and let them turn on each other. So when they fired Sbongile, my dad said, now you can go. He said, this is what they were showing me. So yeah, we started the arbitration journey and we sent them the letters and now we're currently preparing for arbitration. But it's going to be an interesting journey.
A lot of this stuff isn't as Machiavellian as people think it is. I mean, sometimes stuff just happens.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was talked into fighting Mnet by Dalimpofu.
Yeah.
And then people go, that's very weird. He was national chairperson of the EFF.
Yeah.
Standing up for you during, you're the guy who's backing up, racist comments.
Yeah.
Is bizarre, right? And with these guys, their lawyer got hold of your lawyer.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing for me. So, we've been having our regular meetings with my attorneys and the advocates. So it's my group of attorneys, group of advocates, and now we're signing the arbitration fund. It's incredibly, 6 figures expensive. It's ridiculous. No, it's ridiculous. And I've had to say for that.
So uncancelled doesn't come without costs. We will ask you all for a contribution to the champagne later on.
You know what I mean?
To prove the point.
You know what I mean? So we initially sent the first letter and they responded, receipt of letter. But on Friday, This Friday, it hasn't been a week. It's going to be a week tomorrow. The Kaya attorney sent my attorneys an email requesting a copy of my employment contract. Exactly. That's what my mother said. My mother said, yo, Tandam. My father said, yeah, my full man. I didn't want to tell you what people have been saying.
Oh,
So yeah, David called me and he was like, what should we do? I said, send them my contract. I said, is it on email? And he said, yes. And I said, send them my contract. So
they didn't have a copy, huh?
yeah, that should tell you. Is it that worries me? You know, because my dad was like, what do you make of this? And I said, I make one of two things. It's either they were so cocky, they told themselves that they're done with me and I'm finished.
Burnt the fire.
Yeah. Or the house is in such disarray.
We can only speculate.
I don't even care enough to
Yeah,
speculate.
no.
Just give me my money.
All right, so also with music, I mean, I remember the first time I saw you perform was the first time you performed. So we really do go back.
Wasn't that terrifying for me?
I was joking with, do you know who I took with me to the Ja Rule concert?
Who?
There's a person in this room who's a massive Ja Rule fan, and none of you will ever guess who it is.
Where would I be without my baby? It's murder. Where are you? Why are you singing behind the wall?
It's Rena.
Rena, are you kidding me?
No, I fucking kid you
Ja
not.
Rule.
Ja Rule.
Did you
And
meet
there was a
somebody there?
shootout in the parking lot afterwards.
Wasn't it insane? You had Ja Rule from New York, and then you had Zola, South Africa's biggest gangster. And that was my first
But you
performance.
performed. First ever live
That was
performance.
my first performance in my life, was performing at the Northgate Dome. 17,000 people. Firstly, I didn't understand what I was doing there. And then Zola's like pacing up and down the stage because it was his thing.
Yeah.
And I'd never performed in my life. Well, you know what I mean. I was in the choir. And then they
not
kicked me out of the
singing.
choir. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't even know what to do. So I used to have this thing when I first started performing, a nervous twitch. I'd just perform an entire set with rubbing my ear to comfort myself. And then eventually Thomas, the one day, he's like, stop, quit the ear now. I was like, okay, my love, must I quit the ear? He's like, quit the ear now. So then I had to accept myself as in where I am right now.
I mean, if anybody in this audience has a bad habit, you have to have people who really love you to tell you about that bad habit.
Yeah.
Because it's never going to come from, I mean, if it comes from someone you don't know, you're going to just think, it's not true, it's nonsense, and you don't trust their input anyway.
Yeah.
And when you've got thousands of people giving you input on everything.
I'll tell you which concert.
Well,
were you there at the Missy Elliott concert?
I may have been. Is it worth it?
Let me work it.
I put my
He
thing
literally
down,
was
flip it,
like,
and reverse it.
he was like, my love, you can't have Missy, and then you're here like this. He's like, just like come out now. I was like, okay, it's time to come out. So it was the Missy Elliott, Kelly Kumalo.
Oh, I remember that.
Leb Matosa, myself,
wow.
TK. Yeah, it was beautiful. We've had great experiences.
We got very, 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 very drunk. Well, a few times.
Which one? I was gonna say which one was it? West Side? Was it?
So yeah, we were both singing with Westlife at Sun City at Trader Horn's pub after their concert, and the bus came and fetched us at 8:00 in the morning with them blacked out windows and took us back to the palace and said, "It's enough now."
This is after the staff was cleaning around us,
Yes.
and we refused to go,
And we were singing-
drinking shooters.
singing
Lauren Hill's
Hill.
And what is Miseducation of Lauren Hill? Track 1 to number 16. Because one of them was like, hey, you look like Lauren Hill. Do you sound like her? I was like, yeah. And they were like, you're lying. Give us a song. And then literally we sang the one song, and then they were like, let's sing the whole album.
We sat there the whole
We
time.
literally sat the whole night
And
singing
a
the
warning,
entire album.
like I know there are some people who can drink, right? But I got to tell you, drinking with Irish people is exceedingly dangerous.
But also drinking with you and Randall is exceedingly dangerous. Can I tell you what they
Back
do?
at you.
Can I tell you what they do? So we used to have one contentious night on Idols where we'd fight, all of us, and like fight viciously. Like I would never swear at Mr. A. But that was the one night, Randall, I'd be on some, fuck you, Randall. Do you know what I mean? So every year, this was our tradition. Randall only drinks tequila. He only drinks tequila with water.
Same here.
And you. So that's the night where they'd ice our tequila from the morning, and then we'd get to deliberation. Now we're going from like a top 30 something, and we're choosing the top 15 or whatever. So we would fight because we'd have our favorites. And we would, Randall, firstly, he'd open it up and say, it's not personal. Then we'll all have a shot. And then G would say, it's not personal. Have a shot, then I'd say, it's not personal, we'll have a shot. And literally,
It got personal.
It would get very, very personal. And then to get back to a place of love, then we'd go partying at Sun City, which was Traders. Party till like 4 a.m.
That place should have given us shares.
I know. We'd go home at like 4 a.m.
But
6 o'clock in the morning, the three of us were at the Sun City,
The Gary Player gym.
The Gary Player gym. We've got those 3 treadmills, and the 3 of us are running, looking onto the golf course, running out all the alcohol for me to be back on set 7:30 for makeup, and then for you guys to join me an hour later.
Yeah.
It's
And you tell me a TikTok influencer works hard.
But by 4 o'clock, we'd be very rude bunch of judges.
By that afternoon, like you'll see there's still some footage. And I mean, people send me these clips all the time. Like there's footage of us being really grumpy. And it wasn't because we didn't like their singing. It was because we were really tired by that time. Yeah.
And dehydrated.
But, okay, so the TV thing, because I think it's quite a cool thing to have been part of that show for, how many years? 8, 9?
11. For 11.
Oh.
You know that's...
I don't even know. When did I finish, Rena?
2016.
2016.
You see, I know your life.
It's been 7 years. I don't really think about it that often, but people send me these clips, and then I suddenly think, the thing I loved about it the most was because the singers come and go.
Yeah.
But we were there every year, and we would laugh and we would have fun.
Yeah.
But we also used to have fun, even though we weren't on the same radio stations, just talking about the industry. And I wonder what you think about TV now, and because TV isn't what it once was.
No.
Everybody knows that, right? We all agree on that, I'm sure. And radio isn't what it once was. And I made a conscious decision when I came off radio, I wasn't going to listen to it. Because if I did, and I said anything negative, people would think I was being bitter. And on TV, when I never used to watch reality TV anyway. So I never watched those shows before. So it wasn't a huge difficulty for me to give them up. But you have paid attention, and you are still, we've got to look at what's going on YouTube, and we're still, able to get that stuff going when and wherever we want. But it's different now. And the music business is different now.
It's very different. The models are different. The engagements are different. The audiences are different, because I guess we established ourselves when everything was linear. And I speak of time now, and in terms of the way, I don't want to use the word content because it's so misused, but the way information and subject matter was distributed, it was very linear in terms of, it was, as you were saying, it was radio stations, and you have to listen to a certain radio station or a show, and there's the bulletin at the top of the hour, there's the headlines at the bottom of the hour, then your links are either at 10 past, 20 past, 22, or 10 to, or if your clocks are different, it's 20, do you know the format? The same with television, it's linear. We know that at 10 past, the program's going to break, and then we're going to be forced to watch ads. Now, there's no such thing as linear time. As you were saying, we've got these capsules of great moments in our lives, and that's where I guess the challenge is, but also that's where the excitement is because there's no linear there are no gatekeepers, G. There are no gatekeepers telling us.
You mean we don't need someone to open up the industry?
We don't need anyone to open up the industry. Isn't it crazy how? But I was thinking about that when I was getting ready for today.
You had too many jobs.
You have too many jobs. Unathi, why are you singing? Why are you on radio? Why are you on television? Why are you behind the scenes? Why do you have your own company?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Right.
Get your own. But it's because of social media that we don't have those conversations now, because there are no gatekeepers, and we can produce whatever we want for our audiences. We were talking about how Pretoria, with the UFM host, how Pretoria now is coming up with a wonderful, genre of music that is a beautiful hybrid between gqom and amapiano. And they have an audience because they have access to each other, because they know where to find each other.
Yeah.
So as much as, to answer your question, it's very cluttered. and it's messy and it's multi-directional. But that's not a wrong thing. It's for us now to find, do you want to go anywhere, firstly? And if so, where do you want to go? Who do you want to take with you? Who do you want to go to? And who do you want to take with you?
Do you want to date anyone?
No.
Because I feel the same way.
Dating traumatizes me, G. Yo.
Because you've at least had the marriage and the children. I've
got it. Me.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
You said she spent a whole day today in the garden.
I did.
Sounds like one of these kept
on my
women.
daybed.
Yeah, it's nice.
I've kept myself.
Yeah, no.
On my
I'm not saying anyone else is keeping that.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
But you don't want. You've been there.
You know.
Or you think that might change?
It probably will, ne?
The door isn't locked. It's just
closed.
shut.
It's closed right now. It is locked right now. Because, little examples, ne? Yo, guys. I'll give you an example. Just of a masseuse, ne? I went to a spa. This young lady was massaging me, and I'm lying on my stomach, and she's massaging me. And she literally said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm touching you right now. You understand? That's a masseuse. So can you understand, like a man now that I'm get it?
And you would be surprised.
You understand?
There's some people who go, I had Unathi Nkayi once.
You know what? And this is what happened to me
I
last
would be
year.
Posting about that.
So this is what happened to me last year, right? So this is what happened to me last year. So I had a thing with this guy, 2 months. Yabo? Situation. But can't guy wa corner. Like he ticks the boxes, you know what I'm saying? Like he's the head of Africa for the thing that he does.
Yeah, don't say
no,
word.
I can't.
Yeah, but he's a serious player.
Yeah, I can't. So
and
I
a
think,
player.
So I think. Okay, brother. Yeah, well, we're here now. We've got the same amount to lose and to gain. You know, 2 months into it, I was like, you're needy. Then I was like, we're ending this, but we can be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Cut a long story short, Eugene was telling me, was it you, Eugene was like, yeah, but it's what a man can do. It's bragging rights. This guy now, apparently, after we had our thing, started talking to his ladies, but, I banged the unstane.
So how's that?
Now, one of his crazy, escapades, which he denies, has now joined my gym. No, she's joined my gym and she's stalking me. I literally had to tell Snago the other day. I said, you see that woman there with the this and the that and the that? I said, if she ever greets you when I'm not around, tell her my mother specifically said, I am not to talk to you. And I'm looking into the camera because I know she's watching right now. So that's why I'm not dating, G.
Okay,
I've got my phone. I've got my trusted army. I don't want to say army.
Let's just say there's a big drawer of sex toys somewhere else.
He says to me, I was telling him, I was like, I hate this era. Because I'm always holding my phone, so my hands get so, he's like, nah, instead those are your sex toys. I'm like, no, G. Also,
listen.
when's the Sexpo this year?
Oh, come on, stop it. You're
Is it in
sounding
October?
desperate.
When is it, Sammy? Is it now? Is it October? September, October. It is October. It's usually last weekend of October.
Look,
it's
she
usually
knows.
last weekend of October.
So, all right, let's just talk a little bit about some of the things that we're all going. You know a lot about me. For example, I have a sign up in my house that says no one is allowed.
No shitting in my house.
Yes.
He literally has a sign that says absolutely no shitting in my house.
And you feel the same way.
I do. I don't like people's smells. And I think it's offensive. And you told me this, actually. So we had a thing on, literally when the cameras went, we used to say, that the reality show is actually when the cameras are off,
Oh,
because
yeah.
the shit we'd say when the cameras are off. And one of the things Gareth always used to say, and well, he still says it, and it's how I raise my kids now. I always remind them, thank you, my love. I always remind them and I say, you know what Uncle Gareth says? And then they go, yes, Mom. He always says, it's very offensive to make people hear your body noises and to make them experience your body smells. So that's why. So if
I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I don't have my own children,
You're
but
raising mine with me.
I've done some good work. I have done God's work in Unathi's household.
So literally, like, I'm like, bad breath, armpits. I don't want to smell what your body smells like. Like, just keep it
tidy.
Keep it well mannered.
Yeah.
Have manners.
Dignity.
Have manners. Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do, because the whole idea here is that we really wanted to talk about a bunch of stuff, and I don't want to, the questions here, you guys are VIPs, you all get to answer these questions. You all get to ask, rather, these questions. And it's not often, and Unathi said she's not going to be doing a whole lot of press because she's not looking for the attention.
You're the only interview I'm doing, literally.
So if you want to ask her some things, you want to ask me some things, we're going to let you have a go now, because I also don't want us to sit here. We start a little bit late, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time. The idea here is that we're going to have very many guests, but I wanted you to be the first one here because I love you, and
I love you.
you have stories, and you talk about everything, and you're open about all the stuff. And we need to encourage people, especially young people who are growing up and are worried about social media and what other people think of them. I mean, there's this horrible statistic that came up the other day in America about 1/3 of teenage girls in America have seriously contemplated suicide.
Yeah, I can
And
believe that.
I hear things like that, and I think about people who have daughters. I think about people who I know, who I grew up with, whose kids are now at that age, and I think this is not the way it should be, because we've always had problems. People have always had to deal with stuff. But this thing here, while it's all the good things we've spoken about, it worries me that, you know, the temptation to believe everything here. And many of us in this room are old enough to know that that's not the truth and that isn't the world. But it does bug me that there's so many who don't know that. And you also grew up in an era where you had to fight for everything.
Yeah.
But you knew what was real.
Yeah.
You knew what the truth was.
I was raised by a clinical psychologist, so he fortified my mind, and he fortified my soul, and he fortified my heart, and he still does, you know. To be a black woman, to have a black father who is as present and
That's privilege. I hate to
it's
say it,
no,
because
but
that
it
word's been
is.
politicized, but the greatest privilege you can have is both parents who love you.
And this is what I have, and I have it, and it's a privilege. You know, my therapist was even saying to me, I should do a podcast with my father, because black
You know, I know someone who can do that.
Black fathers
I know someone who can make a podcast for you.
I happen to, should I call him?
Go to hell.
Should I call him?
Go to hell. So what did your dad say? I interrupted you.
Yeah, so I always quote my father, and I think that's why my therapist was like, you and your father need to do a podcast. My father says, needing people to understand who you are adds absolutely no value to you, because it doesn't change your trajectory. I'm sorry, brother, did I kill you? It's just the way you were like,
He just had a mini stroke.
No, literally, he was like, whoa.
Seppo, you're right. Seppo, sit down.
You saw him there?
Sit down.
Seppo was like, whoa. So needing anyone outside of yourself
Strangers'
to understand
affirmation.
you adds no value to you, because they're not going to give you more money. They're not going to give you a job. It's not going to make you more capable in whatever you have to
They'll give you more
deliver.
money if you open up an OnlyFans.
I get you, right? Nipples only. Do you know what I mean? But other than that, like, what do they really do?
No.
So the only thing we need to work on is understanding ourselves, as opposed to wanting other people to understand us. And that's the problem here, is that we're all seeking external validation. And I say all because we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll thirst trap y'all on a Thursday on some pound.
Yeah.
Just to get you out of your meetings on some
Yeah.
J. And I'm just doing it in J. Like,
You're
it's
gonna be
not
like, you're gonna age.
Just like,
You're gonna age like Tina Turner. I can see it now. Jesus, she's still hot. Hey? Tina Turner. Let me tell you something.
I love her.
I think because I've never really thought about this very much, but there's something about those. Like Tina Turner does not do anything she doesn't want to do anymore. They've offered her billions of dollars to do one more show.
Maybe Vegas or something.
And
she's like, no.
she says, she lives in Switzerland with her
Married
husband.
to a younger guy.
So much money. She does whatever she wants. Tina Turner wakes up in the morning. She does. I think you can live like that.
So that's another reason why I don't want to date.
Is that the goal?
Completely. We're black at my final wedding. You know what I mean? That's another reason why I don't date. Ne? The younger ones, too enthusiastic. Yeah. Then the older ones, too lethargic. They don't have energy for
So
me.
where's the goal?
I'm killing you today.
So where's the?
I'm killing
Hang
you
on.
today.
Where's the Goldilocks zone?
There's no Goldilocks zone. This is what I'm saying. Okay, so my age group.
Nothing.
My age group is too needy and childish. Ne? 40-somethings, you know yourselves, man. Come on. Early 40s, you know yourselves. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to raise another nigga. Because
Got two already.
also you like, how honest can I be? Can I be honest?
Yeah, go. Well,
Yo,
she's not
guys.
like she's holding back so far.
Oh, we have woman now. We have woman now. He's like, I mean.
Come on.
Can I say it like it is?
Go on.
Guys, there's nothing more unattractive than a man wanting you to raise him and then expecting you to fuck him. Like, we can't fuck our sons. So that's why, like, my age group is unattractive to me. Then the younger ones, Temba.
You see why we needed to do live events, by the way. I think everybody's been called out at least once during this.
Yeah, aunt. And then the younger ones are too enthusiastic, and then the older ones, yo, can I be honest? One round for the whole night. Kill me. I didn't leave home for this. So that's why I'm not dating. Yo.
All right. Let's see them.
So I've got
Let's
problems
see-
in the dating sphere. Sorry, did we break the
No,
mic
I don't
so
know.
much? Oh, we're
Am I
here.
still? Let's see them put this on TV where Idols was. So get some ratings again. Let them get some ratings for the first time in ages.
Guys, so do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like tricky territory. Like, I want you to work on you. I want me to work on me.
Yeah.
I want us to meet here in the table. And I want us to vibe here. I don't want to now come and now I must. And the thing is, because of my ancestral gift, yo, it's like flies to a turd.
That's not a very nice metaphor for you.
No, it's okay. I get it, but it's okay. So I attract.
I would say like bees to the flower.
Bees to the flower. Titi's like, yeah. Okay. So can we start that again?
Because
it's like bees to a fly. They're gonna call me a piece of shit.
Because a bee has no business trying to explain to flies why they should be on flowers and not on shit.
So as I was
We didn't
saying,
rehearse that. That's what professionals do.
And professionals know how to pick up. So as you were saying, it's like flower.
so
It's
good.
like bees to a flower. So I find that like I'll attract someone.
Sorry, I just
who's
thought, like a moth to a flame, burned by
the
desire.
fire.
My love is blind, can't you see my desire?
That's the way love. Da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-dum. I lost my virginity to that song.
You did?
I lost my virginity
There's
to
a
that
headline.
song.
I lost my virginity to that song. Janet Jackson.
I did. It wasn't the year the song was released, by the way. I wasn't fucking in
good song.
93.
All right, so again, I interrupted you. But
No. We'll get back to it. But it's like bees to a flower. So I'll attract a certain type of man, or he'll be attracted to me, and we'll bond and we'll chat and we'll get to know each other. And then all of a sudden is, can you help me with this thing?
Oh no.
And then I lose my attraction towards you because also, like, I want I want an alpha male.
Oh,
People will be very shocked.
This
I've
is
never
good.
hit on a man. I don't know how to hit on a man. So I'll never make the first move. So I need you to know that you are enough to come and approach me. Yeah, God? So I need
this is such
that.
this is such a big deal. So
I need things.
because your son's going to grow up and he's going to date, and you hope he's an alpha male, because masculinity has also come under fire lately. And
It's this whole woke culture. Have you seen
Yeah.
Roald Dahl? Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
They've got to remove the word fat from all the books and replace the word fat with enormous.
Which is worse.
This is what I was saying. When
I mean,
was
if I say to G, you look a bit fat today, you're going to be upset. But
You
if I
wouldn't
go,
finish that
you
sentence.
are enormous.
Which is what I was saying. When I was much heavier, I would have preferred to be called. I don't use the word fat, by the way, because it's like but it's less
You're so
than
woke.
enormous.
You're so woke.
No, I'm not angry.
Yeah,
I ain't angry. Not angry. Do you know what I mean? So it's you were saying you hope Snuggle's an alpha male as well.
Yeah, because a lot of guys, and this is a problem. One of my friends runs like a dating thing. He says there are no quality men out there, and the girls come, and they're looking for these guys, and these guys are all these simpy, like
they want
trying
to make up. They want to make up for their parents or their.
I mean, what's that all like? You don't want those. Nobody wants those guys.
Guy I tried to date the year before this last guy, 2021 now, same January February. That's why I'm single this January February, because I'm breaking the cycle. Do you know what I mean? Because I was like 2021 Jan Feb, 2022 Jan Feb. That's why I'm like Jan Feb 2023. I'm on my own. 2021 Jan Feb hunts me down literally. Works office of the presidency. You see, they come with their smoke and mirrors.
Was he
I'm
the one
like,
who stole the PPE money?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
We don't do criminals.
Sure.
We don't do criminals. He's not the one.
Yeah.
But he comes, office of the presidency, under the guys. But he does work for the office of the president. But he comes as if, he wants to work, 50th anniversary of women in the defense force, all of that stuff. Then conversations start, may I take you out for dinner, wada. So I'm like, sharp. Eventually we start dating. Literally didn't have a relationship with his father. It's this whole black South African man thing. Didn't have a relationship. Broken. Broken. You know what I mean? It so happens while we're together, his father comes out of the woodwork, out of nowhere, after like 15 years. I'm literally watching this man turn into the 5-year-old boy who wanted now to make up for. And I'm listening to this man in his 40s going, but I don't know what my dad would think, and I don't know what my dad would say. Eventually I had to say, you know what, brother, I can't, because now you sound worse than my son. Because my son doesn't, I don't know what my dad would say. He goes to his dad, Dad, what do you think about this? Dad says no. He says, but Dad, how about no? Dad says, thank you for actually, Dad, thank you for seeing my point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's adult. But
so that's why like dating.
No, I feel it's.
I
think,
I don't have
the
emotional
again,
capacity.
without making it too general, I think it's going to be tough for a lot of women to find the right guy more than ever before.
Yeah.
Because at least some would go to war and become men.
Right?
Like, it's a horrible thing to say, but you don't know.
What's your dating life like? Why are we focusing on me?
My dating, by design, I keep my life completely uncomplicated.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I'm not needy. You know this about me.
Yeah.
Not needy. There's not a lot that I want.
Yeah.
And want and need are very different things. So if you want something, you can have it.
Yeah.
If you need something, it's pathological. It can be.
It's also very
Right?
narcissistic, because I think there are very few things that we actually need.
But
so for someone to put that energy on you is a very
while
selfish.
we're on this, because he's also someone I know and I like.
Who?
You and your ex-husband get on well now.
We get on very well. And we've always gotten along well.
But you just don't want to be husband and wife.
No, we can't be.
No.
No, we can't. And I say it with love, because we've realized we love each other better, differently.
But you've made two lovely human beings.
Two lovely human beings. We're looking forward to our son's initiation. We have lunch now. We have dinners. He comes over. He bakes. It's wonderful now.
That's amazing.
Who
That
said
is.
Jesus? Titi. And he's your friend. Jesus. He's my greatest love. Is my greatest love. And with great loves, you have to allow them to evolve as you evolve. I'm not the Unathi who he fell in love with at YFM. And he's not the bad boy T that I fell in love with at YFM. Now, he's Tataka Snago, Tataka Imbo. And we both had to allow ourselves to evolve into those places as individuals and accept that as we're growing as individuals, then the union now is not as where it was.
But it's also.
So it's okay, and it's beautiful now.
It's not just okay, it's better, as you said.
Better.
Because now it's 2023 and divorce does not equal like, oh, you failed somewhere. Or because that used to, and if you were 2 generations back, there was no changing your mind.
There's it's beautiful. Like I look at we have virtual meetings with both families and both elders from both, and we're all
there's some crazy people in both your families too.
Oh, we're crazy. Like, do you know what I mean? We're crazy. And it's wonderful to see everyone laugh and at a place where, do you know what T and I did? We fortified ourselves away from everything and everyone so that whatever happened in front of the media, we knew who we are, And I think, I don't like to get personal, but to explain, I think the third thing that people want me to clarify it was the Kaya Idols and Somizi.
Oh, right.
And what happened?
Because, you guys were thick as thieves. We all were.
We're all 4 of us were thick as thieves. And Thomas and I got divorced. You and Randall didn't choose sides, but he did.
I was taught that by somebody. You never choose sides.
Never choose sides, but he did. And even when we sat on the judging table and I was professional, he was choosing sides. And for my family and I, it was fine for him to go on boys' trips with Thomas to his Mbali house and all of that. But where we said that you don't cross this line now is where he'd come back and then speak smack about me on the very same reality show. You know what I mean? So now you're showing that you're choosing sides. You're going on boys' trips.
You have no relationship at all?
No.
Nothing.
So my father, clinical psychologist, he called me the one day and he's like, Ndanam, what's going on there? And I said, it's just him being him. And he said, and my dad said, this is your real life.
Boundaries.
Now. This is your real life, and we've raised you to go to school for what you do. Your life is not going to be on your own reality show, never mind someone else's. And my dad was like, this boy is no longer your friend. And I said, Dad, no, but he is. It's just doing it for the reality show. And my dad was like, he's chosen sides. And my dad was like, look at it play out. And he wants your divorce to play out on his reality show. And that's not going to happen in the Nkayi name. And then that's when my dad was like, it was like a month before the wedding. My dad was like, you're not going to the wedding. Sure. And I said, I'm not going to the wedding. And he said, you're not going to the wedding. And then other family members from around the country started calling me because we're all watching it play out on his reality show, and they're all calling me to say, he's chosen sides. You're not going to the reality. You're not going to the wedding. You're not going to the wedding. That's going to be your first statement.
Sure.
And that's why I didn't go to the wedding. And then I just let him choose sides. And that's the reality of it. I don't hate him. We haven't fought. We just don't have a relationship because he chose sides. And then when South Africa came for me, because I've always been a professional. You know what I mean? We've always gotten along, and I'll never show who I like or who I don't like. But when I started raising the R. Kelly thing, and people were, because his allegations were coming up, and people were like, yeah, but you're quiet about your friend. And that's when I said, we're not friends. And that's when, and because as you say, I don't speak, I don't talk, I just make a statement, and I know why.
Well, next guest, Somizi, ladies.
And you know what's funny? And you
No,
know what's,
it would be fine.
no, it would be fine.
I know it would be fine.
Of
You know,
course.
this
But
is,
you know what's funny? Just sorry to conclude this part is on his reality show last year, he dedicated an entire episode about me. It was the second episode of the new season. And whose show did he go on to promote that episode? Thomas's show. Yeah, when he was still doing breakfast with Uskomba. So that's, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I called Thomas after that, and I'm like,
So what have we learned? We have learned that you need to have a father who's a psychologist. This is we have learned that you always, even
listen
if
to your parents.
you listen to your parents. I mean, this is good advice,
I
right?
listen to my parents.
Sure.
My mom
Even
said
in
you're
your
gonna
40s.
sue. I'm suing now.
Right. So you fight.
Yes.
You don't take other people's shit if you don't deserve it. And I think that's
'Cause shit
really
smells.
inspiring. And we must stop talking about shit. It's so lavatorial. But
Sam's like, thank you.
but I love that there are people who know what they're doing. They know what they're good at.
Thank you, my love.
That they do what they do. They do it in front of all of us and entertain us.
Yeah,
Listen.
thank you.
They raise 2 children. They are a good daughter
Thank you.
and a good descendant of some pretty fucking great ancestors.
Amako.
And that we can all take something from this. I mean, it really is spectacular.
Thank you.
You're spectacular.
Thank
I love you.
Thank you for having me. You know I love you.
Right.
You know I
Questions before this breaks down like a Dr. Phil episode. Who wants to? We only got like a few minutes, so
love you. If
put your
anyone
hand up.
does
Go.
have anything to ask.
Go. This is the only chance you're going to get with her, so come on. See that?
I think
We've answered it all.
I think we've said it all.
We've said it all.
I think we've pretty much said it all.
All right. Lebang.
How soon can we get your dad in to record that? Like in just this,
No, really.
these few moments, I'm
Yeah.
sitting here and I'm like, my word, I can go home and tell my kids, I can call my cousins, I can call my uncles, my
Yeah.
aunts, all my friends, and tell them that there's a possible blueprint for how we can fix our generation.
Sure.
Even just as an example.
Sure.
So after this, can you please just have a quick example?
It's please, yeah, and it's happening. I called him. So my parents are very weird. They're not weird. I love them. My parents are so modern. So we've got a family house here in Pretoria. We all moved here in 2001, but we've still got our family house in Grahamstown. My dad's family house, my mom's family house, 2 of them in Grahamstown. Then we've got a family house in
Very,
GQ.
very wealthy family.
No, we're not. Now you're gonna make me a target. No, we're not. I don't know. We're not.
Lobola is going to be big for me.
No,
Yes. I'm going to have to mortgage everything.
You know what I mean? Yes, because we want that land.
The land.
The land.
You want the
I
land?
want the land. So to cut the story short, both my parents are in Grahamstown right now. My dad's at his family house. My mom's at her family house. So when I call them, I have to be like, "Are you together or are you not? Or can I speak to the one?" So basically, I spoke to him last week, and I told him why there's a need for him to, flaws and all. He's a very flawed man. So I don't want to put him on a pedestal and then, you know what I mean? Flaws and all. Very flawed human being, but an exceptional father. And I spoke to him last week, and he's agreed to do it. So we are going to do it.
To put not that's amazing, yes.
Thank you.
Because to put not too fine a point on it, there is still a lot of stigma and shame around even asking for help.
Yeah.
Especially for young men.
Yeah.
Especially for young black men.
This
is the thing we need to do.
An industry friend of ours, we've been friends for over 20 years, and he's in his 40s as well. And I posted a video on Instagram. The city of Joburg was coming to switch off my lights at the house, but they owed me money.
No.
And I was saying in my video, like my father, 2 things he taught me: pay your mortgage ahead and pay your lights ahead. If I hadn't paid my mortgage ahead from 2007, my house would have been taken last year from what Kaya did to me.
Really?
It would have been gone.
Really?
Yeah. Gone. Because what I did from 2007 was pay 5,000 extra on my mortgage every month from 2007. So for the past year, I didn't pay my mortgage at all because I was so ahead. And my father told me to do that in 2007. He's like, you will pay extra on your mortgage, even if it's 100 Rand, but pay the most you can. Because can you imagine how many 5,000 Rands I would have wasted on my red bottoms or my perfume or... Do you know what I mean? But because I put away that extra 5,000 Rand from 2007, last year, when that humiliation happened to me and everybody stopped calling me and giving me business.
Really?
Yeah.
Phone just...
Is it on? Is it flat? Ichachile. You know what I mean? So great advice. And then the City of Joburg one, my friend called me and he's like, you know, just to have a father to impart certain nuggets. He's like, Unathi, I've never thought of paying City of Joburg ahead.
No one's teaching anyone these things.
And I'm like, really? He's like, I've never thought of paying. He's like, mortgage, yes, but City of Joburg? I'm like, they take money every month. So you might as well have money in there anyway, just in case July is bad for you and they don't come and switch you off.
So we came here tonight for financial fitness advice with Unathi. So, all right, listen, guys, I'm going to have to wrap this up. We did start late, and I was going to give people a lot more time for questions, but I think we covered quite a lot of ground.
I think we've got enough.
She's got like hours of stories in her. We're going to have to go and drink one night.
Can we?
And then we can... Yeah.
Uber and tequila.
Wherever, baby.
Uber,
Wherever.
tequila, and water. Yeah.
That's the way. It's our recipe for success. So there we are, kids. Drink tequila. This public
with
service
water.
announcement.
Don't mix it with other alcohol.
No, that's very important.
That's our secret, though. That is the
Very
secret.
important.
We'll have we call them tequila nights, where Randall will bake. People don't know Randall's an incredible baker.
Oh, yeah.
He still bakes for my daughter now. I think that's where Thomas has gotten his new baking thing from now as well.
Yeah, he's a whiz. He's a whiz in the kitchen.
Yeah. So we have tequila nights, but the only thing you drink is tequila and water.
But
nothing else.
tonight we got to share with you, and I want to thank everybody for participating. You're all VIPs. You're the first people to get to see this. I hope it's going to be the start of a whole new chapter here. I have every reason to believe that Eugene Koza will be funnier next time. Jeez. Fuck, was that disappointing?
He was putting a context. Also, you, just so nice to see you, dude. Like you're busy shouting at Gareth and telling him to occupy the space.
He's done the right thing.
That time you're occupying my space in GQ. Neighbor. Can I call you neighbor? Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you. I love you. Thank you, everybody.
Right.
Please. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the one, the only. Hey, yeah. I don't need help.
Oh.
The one, the only man who looks great in mint because he owns the South African Mint. Eugene Koza!
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh man, thank you so much. I think the vision has been fulfilled, right, Gareth? When we sat in that room and we brainstormed, there's only one name that came to mind, and that was Unathi. We wanted you to set the tone of what adult conversation sounds like, and that's what that's what. It's true. That's the word Titi taught me the other day after I've done my one-man show. He was like, yes, it's so nice to hear what people our age are thinking about. And, you know, my friend Slebs likes to say, kilos out about holo, like adult conversation. And we miss that. There's no space for people to have adult conversation. And this room is going to be for that. Going forward, this is what the unCancelled podcast is about. It's like grown-up conversation. There's no time, there's no limits, but we're having a good time talking about whatever we want to talk about with each other as well. And
please, can I come next time and be in the audience?
Absolutely.
Please, man.
Absolutely. And what I've learned is never be afraid to stop and take a break and take care of yourself. None of this is going anywhere. You'll always find this thing again. You know, like I've learned from my estate agent who once said, there's no new house in the world, Eugene. Everyone has owned everything before.
Yeah.
So just buy what you like.
Yes.
And that's a metaphor for life going forward for now. I feel like we put ourselves under pressure to just outdo people that we don't know. And like you said, we're trying to impress people we've never seen before. And I want to encourage us to do just that, to have these conversations with our friends. And I wanted this to be a fly in the wall type of situation where you get to overhear what Gareth is interested in, what Unathi has to say, what Eugene maybe wants to say some other day, and the next guest after that, and the next guest after that. So I'm looking forward to the series.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
Before
go
we
ahead.
conclude.
Go ahead.
I know what GQ gives me.
Yeah.
Kabeja.
Yeah.
I know the sea, I know the wind, I know the clarity,
Yeah.
I know the humility, I know the peace,
Yeah.
the tranquility.
Yeah.
G was saying to me before we started this interview, and he's saying, it's so weird how throughout all your turmoil, Unathi, this past year, you've been so serene.
Yeah.
And I was saying, because it's imprinted in my DNA. And that's how I deal with people who think they're going to come for me or destroy me. I go to the bottom of the seabed. I'm very, very good at that. My power is my silence. So I'll go to the bottom of the seabed and I'll let all the tlaka happen on the top. It's the waves, it's the ships, it's the whales, it's the dolphins, it's this animal's chowing this animal, there's a human dying, the foot is being chowed. But I'm at the bottom of the seabed. But it is! Sammy, but you get it, right, Sammy?
Yes.
It's there, it's ships, it's strange Chinese balloons that we don't know that are watching us hovering. But when you go down to the bottom of the seabed, you're still traveling along, but you've left all the mess up there and it's silent. And the silence is loud. So you can hear yourself even more. So that's what I do, and that's what I did this last year. What did leaving GP, leaving your fame, coming to my hood for an entire year to live on a beach house, where did you find the strength to do that, firstly? And what did you learn
And
about
ladies and
yourself?
gentlemen, for the answer, you will have to join us for the next podcast.
Yes! yeah!
Keep some of that stuff
Do you know
for
what I mean?
later.
Like, what did that year do for you?
I think for the longest time I was very fearful. I was very fearful from a young age. I was fearful from growing up with an alcoholic father. You never knew what he was going to do next. I was fearful because I had a mother who was a nurse, who was a hard worker, who woke up at 4 a.m. and would walk from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. going to the train station, only to get to work at 8:30. She did that for her entire career, her entire life. I grew up fearful of what she will go through in the street at night because I was a young kid who couldn't protect her. I grew up not knowing if I was going to be able to go to university or not. And I couldn't. And as soon as that was reality for me, I made another plan, and another plan, and another plan, and another plan. And what my mother always taught me was never be afraid to try. And when I had hit that wall, and I'd lost my son, and I'd lost my best friend, and I knew that all of this will be here when I come back, I rolled the dice, I opened Property 24, and I said, the first house that shows up, I'm in there.
And my people called you?
Yes. And the first place that showed
My
up...
people called you?
Yes. The first place that showed up was that. And I remembered the words of my mom. And I said, I can always start again. And 2 days later, we were on a moving truck. Stuff was being moved. We were on a flight, my daughter and I, and we found this beautiful paradise where we were the only black people in that whole entire neighborhood.
And what are you saying about black people calling it paradise?
And what I learned from being there was as a fear from being a person of color or being a black man is it teaches you that things can be taken away from you. And what I've learned from white people is...
But white GQs are different to the rest, eh?
Yes,
white GQs are the best in the world.
Yes.
White GQs are different to the entire world. They're the best.
And
no, they are. The friendliest people are...
Yes.
Nice.
And they've mastered the art of leisure. And that's one thing...
welcome to my life.
Yes. I never thought I would be able to have leisure. And when I stripped myself of the work that I could have had and the opportunities that I could have had, and I just enjoyed the little things of going to the beach, swimming and taking strolls with my daughter after school.
Fetching, I was going to say, that's what my friends do.
Yes.
They fetch their kids from school every day and they hit the beach.
Yes.
Literally, and that's our lives
and
in GQ.
We did that for a year and it made us stronger, it made me stronger. And coincidentally, when I came back to the city, I came back for one thing and I ended up staying. You know,
Yeah.
when the movers came to the house, they were like, your house looks like a crime scene. Like you were here one day and you were not the other day. And I was like, that's how life is. And,
Yeah.
and now I'm open to possibility. So when I went to Gareth's show, that was the one thing that was foremost to my mind. And I said to him, I cannot allow you to deny South Africa what you have to say.
Thank you
the
for
person,
that.
The person that you are.
I've missed your voice.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you
person
for
that you
that,
are behind the
Eugene.
mic is what I want people to experience.
Yeah.
Because I look forward to having conversations with
All
him
right,
once
listen,
a year.
listen.
So,
You need more microphone in front of your face,
yes.
but not tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
And you, sir,
Yes.
I thank you for hauling me out of the very peaceful, happy, quiet, contented place I was and forcing
But
me
also,
to.
thank you for taking the
Yes.
responsibility.
Yes.
No, I mean it, G. Come on.
Listen, thank you all for coming. Have something to drink. Have something to eat.
glass of
Eugene, I love you.
champagne.
Unathi, I love you.
I
Thank
love
you, everybody.
I love you.
Thank you.